San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about on the show. We love Monday shows. Get fired up on a Monday. Might be raining outside, might be a little drizzly. That's not going to ruin the sunshine of San Diego sports. How about, I don't want to start really with the Padres too much. We're going to get to Padres baseball. They took 2 out of 3. And I'm going to tell you right now, the more I talk to other fans, friends that are friends of mine that are fans of other teams, everybody's miserable going to the playoffs. So you know what that tells me? It's wide open. Nobody's super excited about their team in the playoffs. Everybody's got major problems. By the way, where all the people call me an idiot for saying that Michael King shouldn't start game 1. He looked pretty good yesterday. Finally, a little bounce back. Give him one more start. He'll be pitching for you in the playoffs. This team's got to, I don't know if, it feels like in baseball right now, every team that knows they're in, which is Philly and Milwaukee and Chicago, the Dodgers, they have all clinched officially. Padres tonight, with a win over Milwaukee, can clinch a playoff spot. In fact, if the Padres win tonight, they can clinch the playoffs in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 05 and 06. That's crazy. With as good as the Padres have been since 2020, so those odd years, man, those odd years have just been killing the Padres. Padres clinching a playoff spot in an odd year? Are you kidding me? They could do that tonight against Milwaukee. So we'll see what the Padres have. They got 6 games left. They got to win one more, and they're officially in. And for some reason, now all of a sudden, like they're 3 games behind Chicago, and they have the tiebreaker. So that's really 2.5 because you win the tiebreaker over Chicago. With the Cubs getting swept by Cincinnati over the weekend, it now solidifies that the Padres have a better record against the National League West than the Cubs have against the National League Central, which means since they both split this season, it goes to division record. Padres have a better division record against the NL West than the Cubs do against the NL Central. So this week, all of a sudden, the door got opened again for the San Diego Padres. Now they got to take care of business against Milwaukee and Arizona. Arizona is battling for a playoff spot. They're a game out of a playoff spot right now. They still have a very low chance, of potentially making the playoffs. But that being said, they're a game out. I haven't taken a deeper dive into the Arizona Diamondbacks and if they have a tiebreaker on the Mets or if they have a tiebreaker on the Reds. Based on the percentage chance of them making the playoffs, I would imagine that they don't. Or maybe it's the fact that they finished the season playing the Dodgers and playing the Padres. But you look at overall how this thing's playing out. Now, all of a sudden, you want to root for the Mets if you want to host. The Padres could still potentially host. I think it's going to be a pipe dream. But it's still a possibility. If the Mets can do damage against the Cubs while you do damage against the Brewers. So it's still relatively possible. And then over the weekend, it's the Cardinals for Chicago. The Cardinals could potentially ruin Chicago's season by making them come out to San Diego instead of the Padres having to go to Chicago. But the fact of the matter is the Padres are playing the Cubs. And with a win tonight, they'll be officially in the playoffs. And like I said, all of the teams that have been relatively in a playoff spot since the trade deadline. And I said this, It was Philly. It was the Brewers. It was the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Padres. I mean, all of those teams were basically locked into a playoff spot since the trade deadline. None of them have fallen out. The only other team was the New York Mets. And I still think the New York Mets were probably going to make the playoffs. They have had an epic collapse. Not as epic as a team in the American League. Let me tell you that. We'll get to that in a second. New York Mets are trying to hold off the Cincinnati Reds right now, and the Reds have the tiebreaker over the New York Mets. That's why the Reds are in the playoff spot right now. Again, I'd have to look with Arizona. I'd have to look with Arizona to see where they're at with that. So, that's the status on the Padres and everybody else in Major League Baseball. And I'm telling you right now, everybody's bitching, moaning, and complaining about their favorite team, that they're not going to be able to get it done. There's not one team that's like super excited in the National League about going into the playoffs. Talk to their fan base. Everybody's like dooming about their team. Let's talk about the American League for a second. The National League is pretty much locked in. The American League is crazy. And the craziest thing about the American League are the Cleveland Guardians, who have now won 9 of their last 10 and have pulled within a game of Detroit because during that time, the Tigers have gone 1-9 in their last 10. They've lost 6 in a row. The Tigers have a 1-game lead on Cleveland. A 1-game lead on Cleveland in AL Central. In the wild card, the Guardians have played themselves into a wild card spot. They're currently tied with Houston. Houston and Cleveland for that final spot. I don't know who's got the tiebreaker or the head-to-head. I'd have to look it up. But Cleveland's right there. And here's the deal. If the Guardian, there's a possibility, there's a strong possibility this week. If Cleveland can catch Detroit, if Cleveland can catch and pass Detroit, Detroit could play themselves out of a playoff spot. Completely out of a playoff spot. I mean, they were like the best team in baseball for the first half of the season. They got Tarek Skubal. It's like, who's going to beat the Tigers in the American League? What a story. What an epic collapse. As much as we like to give Frank a lot of crap, okay, about the Mets. As much as Frank thinks the Mets had a bad meltdown, and it's been bad, nobody has had a worse meltdown than the Detroit Tigers. And by the way, if you're a baseball fan, guess who the Tigers are playing this week? They're playing the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians are a game back of Detroit for the American League Central. And they have 3 games against Detroit this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And if Cleveland can take 2 out of 3, they'll pick up a game, so then they'd be tied. And I don't know what the tiebreaker is in the American League. I don't really know off the top of my head. But I'm telling you right now, if the Guardians were able to sweep the Tigers, they could knock the Tigers out of the playoffs. Over the weekend, Detroit's got to go to Boston. Boston's still playing for, some seeding purposes. They only have a 1-game lead on Cleveland and Houston in the wild card. I mean, Boston's right there too. And Detroit and Boston could be playing for a wild card spot this weekend just to make the playoffs. I mean, we talk about not having game 163. I was a fan of game 163 because it was kind of fun. It's also stupid at the same time. Like, if you're playing all these games against all these teams, there should be tiebreakers. And if I went 5-1 against the Giants in 6 games, why do I have to play the Giants again? I already showed you during the season that I beat them up. But a game 163 was always fun. It's the drama, must-watch television. See who's getting into the playoffs. You basically have that. You have a play-in series maybe this weekend with Detroit and Boston. The American League is going to be fun. Just to figure out who's going to the playoffs. And here's the other one. Cleveland's got Texas. Now, Texas has struggled too. Texas has had an epic collapse. They've lost 7 in a row. They're basically out of it now. They're 79-77. They are the first team out right now when it comes to the American League playoffs, but the Texas Rangers are 5 games out of a playoff spot. So probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen, but they do have Cleveland in front of them. So again, that could be something else. But you look at the American League with the Boston Red Sox, the Cleveland Guardians, the Houston Astros, those 3 teams battling for 2 playoff spots. Because one of them is going to be left out. Right now, in the standings, if you were to look, like Cleveland and Houston are tied right now for that last spot, but there's going to be a tiebreaker that comes in and eliminates somebody. And I don't know what the tiebreaker is between Houston and Detroit either, because that could be very close to Cleveland taking 2 out of 3 from Detroit, winning the tiebreaker so they have the American League Central, and now Detroit and Houston are battling for the final spot, mixed with Boston. And Detroit's got Boston this weekend. I mean, this is fun. This is playing out exactly how Major League Baseball would love it to play out. It's fun. It's interesting. The American League, we haven't paid a lot of attention to the American League just because we're focused on the National League. But this week, for the Detroit Tigers, because of everything that they have done to themselves, they have done this to themselves. They got to go. Tarek Skubal's pitching on Tuesday. Try to keep this thing alive for Detroit. They got a 1-game lead on Cleveland. So I mention all of that because, again, everybody is freaking out about the playoffs. Every fan base doesn't think they have enough pitching. Every fan base doesn't think they have what it takes to make a run in the postseason, which, again, you watch the Padres in a vacuum, you're like, oh, my God, who's going to pitch? Oh, my God, are we going to score runs? Oh, my God, there's no way we go to Chicago and win 2 out of 3. I mean, that's basically what every Padres fan is saying. Like, watching the Padres play against the White Sox this weekend, even though they did take 2 out of 3, it was more of a struggle than it needed to be. And then you start looking at other teams, and everybody else's fan base is doing the exact same thing, freaking out about everything that's going on. This week in baseball, you're a baseball fan, not just a Padres fan, but you're a baseball fan. This is going to be a fun week for 6 games left for everybody. The American League has a fun race going on. Now, all of a sudden, Cincinnati is part of this race with the New York Mets. Arizona is a game back. I mean, you're going to be playing against teams that are in it right now. Arizona's got the Dodgers this week. Dodgers have already clinched a spot. You look at the overall standings in the league, in the National League, Philly's 3 games back from Milwaukee. I mean, if you're the Padres, here's the deal. If you're the Padres, you could do yourself some favors here by letting the Brewers get the 1 seed so you could play Milwaukee in the second round and not have to play Philadelphia. But at the same time, you got to get at least that first win to clinch a spot. It's going to be interesting with the Padres these next 3 games. Then against Arizona, they could basically knock Arizona out of the playoffs. But there's a lot of teams still playing for something in Major League Baseball. We're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk more about the Padres. We're going to get to Aztec football. We're going to talk about Aztec football later on in the show. I wanted to spend some time on it in the opening segment. We got to go a little bit carried away with how fun Major League Baseball is. We'll talk NFL, college football. Frank and I were at the Aztec game. How about them Aztecs, huh? How about them Aztecs?
How about them Aztecs?
That's right, Sean. Say it again, Sean.
How about them Aztecs?
That's right. How about them Aztecs? How about them Aztecs? What an ass whipping that was. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I was in the press box for the game. I thought Cal was going to be up 28-0 at the end of the first quarter. Going into the game. I'm like, there's no way San Diego State hangs with these guys. And the quarterback they have and the personnel they have, they just beat Minnesota. They handled Oregon State. I mean, they were 3-0, and they were 3-0 in a convincing way. And San Diego State, goose egg, shuts out Cal. And offensively, actually looked like competent. The running game was great. I thought the defense balled out. I thought the crowd at Snapdragon Stadium was fun. Get people to the game. I'm glad San Diego State got people to the game. They gave away tickets. They had a flash sale. And you know what? It showed out. You got to see it. It wasn't a full sellout. But I'm going to tell you right now, it was a good amount of people. And the crowd played a little bit of a factor. It was great to see the students there. That's a great win for San Diego State. That is a great win for Sean Lewis. Great win for Sean Lewis beating Cal. I'm going to tell you right now, I think Cal is going to win a lot of games in the ACC. I don't think that Cal, I think Cal was overlooking San Diego State. But the Mountain West is wide open. If you could beat Cal, Cal's better than most teams in the Mountain West Conference. The Mountain West Conference is wide open. San Diego State has a chance to get on a little bit of a roll. I loved everything about it. I loved the way their offense played. Denigol played a lot better. I thought the running game for San Diego State was great, and they were giving Cal's quarterback fits, and that guy's good. I mean, that first drive that Cal had was like a hot knife through butter, and what did the Aztecs defense do? They held them at the end. A goal line stand at the end of that drive, kind of flipped momentum, drove down the field, scored a touchdown, went up 7-0, had the interception return for a touchdown late in the game. I mean, overall, San Diego State was ready to play. I'm not ready to call out all of the Sean Lewis haters out there because it's just one win, but that is a great win for San Diego State's program in this new era of Sean Lewis football. It's great. They needed that. That staff needed that win. Take a deep breath and get focused on playing the rest of the year. And you start looking at San Diego State. So now they got to travel to Northern Illinois. Okay, they got to play NIU this weekend coming up. Next game on the docket. That's going to be a 12:30 kick. It's going to be on ESPN. It's not even on TV. It's on ESPN Plus. San Diego State's actually favored on the road. Northern Illinois, 1-2 this season. The Huskies. They beat Holy Cross. They've lost to Maryland close, and they lost to Mississippi State. They've played 2 Power 4 schools. This is a good step in the right direction if you're San Diego State if you could get a win on the road against Northern Illinois. 1-2, but they have played some decent opponents. And then you start looking at the rest of the Aztec schedule. I'm telling you right now, Cal's better than most of the teams that San Diego State's going to play from here on out. Cal's better than Colorado State, who you get at home. Got to go to Reno to play Nevada. They haven't been very good. Fresno State, up and down. They're going to be a better team in the Mountain West. Wyoming at Hawaii is always tough. Going to Hawaii. Boise State, who's down this year, not as good of a Boise State team as we've seen in the past. San Jose State, and at New Mexico. I mean, the college football world was like, what in the world is happening in San Diego? That was great. Loved it. Loved everything about it, start to finish. We're going to get more detail about Aztec football later on in the show. When we come back, we're talking about Padres baseball. We're talking about the recent road trip that they have had. They took 2 out of 3 from the White Sox. And again, Friday night's game started with, here we go again, with starting pitching getting ambushed. I don't know if that's something that could be fixed. I don't know if it's something they're like just trying to make it through the end of the regular season, but that is a massive problem for the playoffs. You cannot have your starting pitching put yourself in a hole early and often in games, especially in the postseason, because a couple of things. You lose your advantage in the bullpen, which is your biggest strength. And right now, here's the other thing too. Like, unless you take 2 out of 3 from Chicago in Chicago against the Cubs in the playoffs, you're not getting a home playoff game. How many times that we got to listen to like the broadcast commercials on Padres TV and Padres radio where they talk about, you got Jackson Merrill, you guys are relentless. It'd be a shame if the relentless crowd and the Padres' biggest advantage wasn't used in the playoffs. We'll talk more about that when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, off and running on a Monday. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. We got Padres tickets to give away. We're going to do it in the 1 o'clock hour. 2 tickets to the Padres game against the Diamondbacks this Friday. Speaking of, this Friday, we'll be live at Baja Rick's. So if you win the tickets in the 1 o'clock hour, I would highly hope you would come down early and hang out with us from 10 to 2. Come down to Baja Rick's. Get your weekend started early. You know what? Get the Wi-Fi out. Do some remote work at Baja Rick's for the game. Come out and hang out with us. Frank's going to be there. This is Frank's first real remote in reality.
It's my first remote not at Petco Park while still basically at Petco Park.
Correct. Are we going to Petco on Wednesday? It'd be the last one of the year. I should ask.
Adam?
Anyway, in the 1 o'clock hour, we'll be giving away 2 tickets to the Padres game against the Diamondbacks this Friday. Join the Padres for the Hispanic Heritage Celebration when they host the Diamondbacks in the final regular season homestand. More info at padres.com/Hispanic Heritage. Also, Friday show, live at Baja Rick's. Frank Marchese, Braden Surprenant show from 10 to 2. Gwen and Chris coming up after. We have a Manny Machado signed baseball to give away on Friday. How we're going to do that, I don't know yet. But you know what? You have to be there to win. You have to be there to win. So come on down to Baja Rick's on Friday. Have a little brunch with us on a Friday. You know what? Start your weekend. Have a day. Be like Rod in the chat and have a day. Where's Prolific at? I expect to see him on Friday. I have his shirt still. I expect to see him on Friday. People in the chat. All you loyal, I expect you to see you on Friday. Come on down. Hang out with us. We're going to be there from 10 to 2. Maybe I'll have some Braden Surprenant show shirts. I do have some extra. There is one gentleman that paid for the shipping for his shirt. I'm going to send that out this week. But anyway, people that are off Friday, hey, have a day. Have a Friday. Come hang out with us. Work remote at Baja Rick's. Where's Prolific at? Get your ass to Baja Rick's on Friday. We expect to see you there, buddy. I got your shirt for you. Come out and say hi. You might be able to win a Manny Machado signed baseball. We're giving away tickets today to that game. So maybe you win the tickets on the show in the 1 o'clock hour. Then I would expect you to show up. That's not part of the rules. You can do whatever you want. But I would expect you to come down. I mean, it's the least you could do, right, Frank? I mean, it's the least you could do.
I'd say so.
We're giving you the tickets. Come down early. Come hang out with us. Get ready for Padres baseball. This hour on 97 through the Fan is brought to you by IHOP. Introducing the IHOP value menu, where all your breakfast faves are just $6 each every day. Where else can you get a big, filling, sit-down breakfast for only $6? Go to your happy place with the $6 IHOP value menu. Available every day at IHOP, $7 in some locations. That sounds good right now. Come on down. Friday, Baja Rick's. Going to be a fun time. All right. Padres magic numbers 1 to clinch a playoff berth. Could happen as soon as tonight. They get a win. They're most likely the 5 seed. They would face Chicago at Wrigley Field in the wild card series. They're 3 games back from the Cubs, but they own the tiebreaker over Chicago. So let's see how this plays out this week. If the Padres have a good week, they could be hosting the wild card. Still playing for that. Padres' magic number for the 5th seed specifically is 2. Cubs' number to clinch the 4th seed in home field is 3. Padres could pass the Cubs by going 6-0 this week if the Cubs go 3-3 thanks to the interdivision tiebreaker. 6-0 means the Cubs got to go 3-3. Go 5-1, they got to go about 2-4. Obviously, go down the list. If you go 4-2, the Cubs have to go 1-5. And then maybe you're hosting the first round of the wild card next week. Playoffs are next week. They're next Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that next Tuesday, September 30th? Yeah. It's here, Padres fans. It's here. Are the Padres ready? Well, we're going to recap what happened over the weekend against the White Sox. Get your phone calls, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to be frank with Frank, see what his takeaways were. Not on the Mets, but on the Padres when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Welcome back to the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each every day from 10 to 2. We're going to talk Aztec football later on. Foul on Juan Ruiz, by the way.
He draws the foul.
Saw him at the Aztec game, didn't say hi. Say hi. If you see me out, you could say hi. It's okay. You could say hi. I don't know if we're going to be at the Western Metal Building on Wednesday. We don't have somebody to run the board for us. So we'll see at Baja Rick's on Friday. I expect the chat to be there. I want no chat messages on Friday because I want everybody there. How about that? You could chat during the show live in person. Wouldn't that be better? Come up and say hi next time you see me. Foul on Juan. That's his first personal. I know Jocelyn will say hi. She'll come up and say hi. She's done it before. Jocelyn is a proud supporter of 97 Through the Fan. She has to remind Adam about it all the time. I will not be wearing the Sage Creek shirt on Friday, though. I'm about to mix it up this week, though. Maybe on Wednesday. Juan, I would have had to chase you down. Yeah, I was moving fast at that point. I was hungry. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's talk about the Padres series against Chicago. Again, based on the way that they've been playing, Frank, you'll take the 2 out of 3. It wasn't pretty, but they're able to get the second 2 wins in on Saturday and Sunday. Friday's game was tough to swallow.
Yeah, it was. It was, again, offense completely left in witness protection. Like there was no offense to be found. You lost a game 4-3 against a way inferior opponent who only had 4 hits. That is not great. That is absolutely pathetic. 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. The only bright side that you can pick up from that game is that Merrill is starting to find gaps consistently. That's the only bright side.
I think the bright side this weekend is Merrill is starting to get hot, and Fernando is starting to turn back into 2019 Fernando. Now,
and the fact that you had Ryan O'Hearn go 6 for 8 on Saturday and Sunday.
Right, everybody thought he sucks now. Because, God forbid the guy has a slump when he doesn't get to start every day. I mean, he got to start more, but he wasn't starting every day. And everybody's like, he sucks. I don't know why we traded for this guy. It's like, relax, guy. There's ebbs and flows to the season. It's ebbs and flows for the season. Ryan O'Hearn needs to be in the lineup more. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Fernando destroying the mistake. That was a mistake, by the way.
Yes.
Fastball right down the middle. Teed off on it, which is good. I mean, the Padres got to be able to take advantage of mistakes. Their home runs have been a lot better. And Mike Schultz said, yesterday, he's praised the team's recent defense, the bullpen strength, competitive at-bats. You should be having competitive at-bats against the White Sox. But as much as that's been great, sunshine and rainbows, the reality check is the Padres are 9-10 in September and 11-15 since August 24th. They'd failed to take what the Dodgers had been giving them on a silver platter, which is the division. They gave it to you. And you're like, nah, it's all right. We don't need it. Don't need it. So needs to be a little bit of balance. With 6 games left, I agree with this. There needs to be a little balance between creating momentum to get into the playoffs and also resting players before October. What was the latest update that we had on Xander Bogaerts? He was expected to be back today after a month out with a foot fracture, which means Cronenworth should be able to slide back to second base. Do we think he's going to be in the lineup tonight?
Which means Ryan O'Hearn's going to slide back to the bench as he's getting hot.
Ryan O'Hearn play first, have a rise DH, and Gavin Sheets is not playing. I mean, somebody's not playing. Are they throwing Frankie Montez tonight? Or no, Freddie Peralta.
Freddie Peralta tonight.
17-6. He's a right-handed pitcher. Put the lefties in. Put the lefties in. Put the lefties in. Dennis Lynn on Ben and Wood said he does expect to see Xander Bogaerts in the lineup tonight. Couple of other things on player updates. Fernando had a home run yesterday, 7 multi-hit games in the last 15, 4 home runs in that span. Again, vintage Fernando. Starting to see vintage Fernando at the right spot at the right time. Hit his 150th career home run. Still impressive. That's impressive from the sense that he's not played a lot of games.
Yeah.
in his amount of time. He's hitting his stride, I think, at the right time. Jackson Merrill hitting .317 over his last 15 games with 13 extra base hits. He's starting to hit at the right time. Machado's struggling badly, and he's been self-critical about it. As mentioned in Kevin Acey's daily newsletter today, I've hit 100, I've sucked, and we've lost. It's true. And it's crazy how this happens all the time. And we talked about this, 2 weeks ago, right? Talked about this 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Where Manny goes, the team goes. And then I was like, okay, well, there's other guys. Fernando's playing better, doesn't matter. Jackson Merrill's playing better, doesn't matter. All that matters is what Manny does. And that impacts the entire team. Even when Xander Bogaerts was healthy before he got hurt, he was playing well. Didn't matter. Manny's not playing well, the team doesn't play well. It's really crazy. So you better hope, you're hoping that Manny figures it out this week, has a good week, and leads it into the postseason. Ryan O'Hearn found a swing again, back-to-back 3-hit games of the weekend. Frank mentioned he was 6 for 8 on Saturday and Sunday. Luis Arraez is on a 10-game hitting streak. That's great news. He's hitting .350 in that stretch. Now, that is Luis Arraez. That is the Luis Arraez that you can bat second, the one that hits .350. Not the one that's been hitting .275, .280 all season. Jake Cronenworth has been very versatile. He played shortstop well in Bogaerts' absence. He has an on-base streak at 10 games. I think he's done a really good job at the bottom of the order, too, Frank.
Yeah, he's been solid. He's also got some a little bit of power. He's gotten some timely hits over the course of the last couple of weeks. So yeah, he's done his job. He's played his role perfectly.
Let's talk about a couple of tidbits that Kevin Acey put into his newsletter. The Padres have now won 178 games in the last 2 years. That is the most ever in back-to-back seasons. Is that surprising to you? With how well that they've played in the last 5 years? I mean, historically, you would have thought in the 90s they could have gotten to that spot at least one. The late 90s from 96 through 98. I mean, 97 was not a good year again. The back-to-back years has been such a problem for this organization. It's surprising to me that the 178 wins the last 2 years, the most ever in back-to-back seasons. The more surprising stat is if the Padres win tonight, they will clinch a playoff spot. It will be the first time that they have clinched a playoff spot in back-to-back seasons since 05 and 06. That is also surprising to me.
It does make sense when you think about it, because if you want to give that same time frame of 96 to 99, 97 was their clunker year. You go the same thing these last 4 years. 2022 to 25, 23 was the clunker. So you have that bad year in the middle. So, I mean,
2020, good year.
Yeah. Well,
2021.
2020 was
clunker.
Also
doesn't matter. For them, though, them making the playoffs in that shortened season was important because they hadn't even come close to making the playoffs up until that point. The closest they was 2010 when Tony Gwynn Jr. was still on the team, and they lost 10 straight games in August, starting with the series against the Phillies, and they missed the playoffs by 1 game, and they won 90 games that season. Outside of that, they were just awful from 2011 to 2018, and really 2019. But you started to actually start seeing some changes in 2019. But as you mentioned, 2020 to make the playoffs, 2021 collapsed. 2022 made it to the NLCS. 2023 collapsed. 2024 made the playoffs. 2025, everybody was expecting a collapse. A lot of you were. They're a game away. They're a game now, 1 win away now from clinching that spot. As great as the Padres have been the last 5 or 6, it's still kind of crazy to me. It just seems like the last 5 or 6 years for San Diego Padres baseball, they were shoo-in for the playoffs, but this is the first time that they have been able to make the playoffs in back-to-back seasons.
And this was also a year that we had all anticipated them just backing into the playoffs, backing into being in the fight that the Mets, Reds, and Diamondbacks are currently in, trying to find a way to either get in the last couple days or try to find a way to stay in it. You're comfortably in it right now. You have a week left in the season. They just showed it on on MLB Network for the Reds, their starting rotation for the next week. This could be Nick Pavetta's last start of the year. It honestly should be his last start of the year. He's the only one in the rotation right now that's scheduled to go twice if the rotation goes through. So this is a properly big game for the Padres coming up tonight to just clinch, and then they have a week to coast to try to ride into the playoffs and set the team the way they want to for the wild card.
I totally agree. Just clinch it, celebrate, feel good about yourself being in the playoffs. They have a big enough lead now where they're probably going to get the 5 seed anyway, that they don't really have to worry about too much. If they want to try to track down the Cubs, let's see how tonight goes, I guess. The Cubs aren't even playing tonight. It's only 3 games tonight.
Yeah.
Welcome to Monday Night Football, part of the year. Nationals are playing the Braves, the Brewers are playing the Padres, and the Cardinals are playing the Giants. Meaningless games for the Padres, except for their game. And then tomorrow, it'll be interesting to watch the Cubs and the Mets this week. That's got major playoff implications. Mets trying to make the playoffs, Cubs trying to hold off the Padres and host a wild card series. So that will be interesting to see. A couple other things here. The bullpen. The whole Robert Suarez versus Mason Miller. Robert Suarez has 40 saves this season. 76 for 87 since 2023. Leads the National League in saves. Mason Miller has a 0.86 ERA with a 52% K rate. Filthy numbers since the trade deadline. Should Miller take over the closer role in October or stick with Suarez's experience? Schultz says the bullpen usage could be fluid in the playoffs. I think that's an interesting topic of discussion. To me, the question is here's the question I'm going to ask you, Frank. What's more important? Saves as a stat or what your ERA and K percentage rate is?
ERA and strikeout rate.
I agree. To me, that's more important because every time we bring up the whole Robert Suarez, Mason Miller debate, people always go, well, Robert Suarez has all these saves. What does that exactly mean? Like, how valuable is a save to you in this day and age in baseball?
Not much, but as far as it goes, I may be jumping the gun here, but as far as the playoffs go, I want my best pitchers up against their best hitters. I don't care who's coming up. I don't care what inning it is. If 1, 2, and 3 are coming up in the 9th inning, I'm sorry, I want Mason Miller there. If it's 4, 5, and 6 coming up in the 5th, in the 7th inning, and there's a chance that if I just run right through these guys, I want Miller in that spot. I want my best. I want my best against their best. I don't want if you're going to go down with your best option.
I think that's why he's going to say it. I think that's why he's saying it's fluid. And they've managed their bullpen like that in the postseason. I prefer the fluid situation. I'm trying to find like the Cubs like ideal lineup because they didn't use it on Sunday.
I mean, it'd be a row of Crow Armstrong, Tucker, and Seiya Suzuki would probably be their ideal 3.
And I would rather have Mason Miller face those 3.
Yes.
Than Robert Suarez.
100%.
Robert Suarez can face Justin Turner and Bush and Alcantara, Nico Horner. I mean, those are the guys that he can face. Because now at this point, we should be discussing how the Padres attack the Cubs more than anything else. Not like vague situations, but if you got Horner, Happ, and Suzuki coming up in the 9th inning, I'd still probably rather have Mason Miller there. Now, if he's available, they didn't play like yesterday. They didn't play Tucker, and Pete Crow Armstrong came in late as a pinch hitter. But like any other day, that's probably a situation where you have those top 3 in the lineup. So again, the whole like closer in the 9th deal, I agree with you. I'd rather, and I think Mike Schultz done this in the past. But he said the situation is going to be fluid. I guarantee you it's going to be fluid. They're just going to be pitching whatever the matchups are per inning. I'd rather see that anyway. So if that means like Robert Suarez in the 7th, that means Robert Suarez in the 7th. I don't know why you would save him. I mean, you look at their lineup again.
Yeah.
Bush, Horner, Happ, Ballesteros, Swanson, Pete Crow Armstrong. I mean, I look at their lineup and it doesn't scare me too much.
The big three should. Nico Horner can hit. Ian Happ is a genuine power hitter. Dansby Swanson's a solid hitter, has been for years.
They're all good. I'm not saying they're not good, but it's not like I don't find it to be a incredibly scary lineup, if that makes sense.
And they're not playing well right now either. So that's also a thing you have to look at, as well as this Padre lineup, as scary as it may be, not playing well consistently at least.
When's the last time is Tucker on the IL? When's the last time he played?
I will take a look at
because he did not play this weekend against Cincinnati at all.
At least I haven't seen a contract too.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't play against Cincinnati at all. He might even be back in time. I heard the Dodgers lost Will Smith for a little bit.
Yeah, Dodgers have lost Will Smith. We'll get to a key guy that the Brewers lost a little bit later on in the sports thread. Yeah, Kyle Tucker's on the 10-day IL.
Yeah. If you go into the wild card series next week and Tucker's not available or he's beat up, I mean, that's another win for the Padres. I mean, they're looking at a lineup right now that's been Bush and Horner at the top with Happ and Ballesteros for the last couple of days. Suzuki's been around 4 or 5 in the order. Pete Crow Armstrong, they're batting lower in the order. Pete Crow Armstrong is hitting 247 right now with a 773 OPS. At least it was going into last weekend. Will Smith might be out until maybe the National League Divisional Series. I mean, there's injuries afoot in Major League Baseball right now. Again, like I said in the opening today, despite the Padres and all the problems that they're having, they're getting players back like Xander Bogaerts tonight, getting healthy at the right time, and guys are starting to get hot at the right time compared to a lot of other teams that are losing players right now. I mean, the Padres lost Xander Bogaerts for a month, but he's back tonight. Dennis Lind mentioned it today on the morning show that he expects Xander Bogaerts to be in the lineup tonight. Xander Bogaerts has 6 games to get up to speed. And he's been doing some rehab stuff in Arizona right now in the complex league or whatever. They got so many leagues. Can't keep track of them all.
Kyle Tucker on the IL retro to September 6th, so he's due back anytime now.
Well, he should be. I mean, he's been on the IL for a long time now. September 6th. What day is it today? The
22nd.
22nd. I mean, if I'm the Cubs, I'm not bringing him back into the playoffs anyway.
And that's probably what they're doing. It was a left calf strain was what put him there.
So that's where we're at with the Padres in terms of the overall deal. I thought Michael King did a lot better. Didn't go long again, but he doesn't necessarily have to do that right now. You just want to get him back into shape. And you know what? I thought he pitched fine. Against Chicago. A lot better on a bounce back against the White Sox. I know it's the White Sox, but he's starting to look a little bit better. Adrian Morejon,
unbelievable.
You could argue that he's been the most valuable Padre this year.
100%.
I know a lot of writers are comparing that. 20 holds this season, 13 wins, a 2.04 ERA, 0.89 WHIP in 72 appearances. Was an All-Star this year. Elite in stranding runners, 11.1% of inherited runners scored, best in Major League Baseball since 2016, if it holds. He has shown versatility, pitches anywhere from the 4th inning to the 9th inning, finally healthy after all these years of injuries. He's been huge. He's been huge for the Padres. That's the big reason why this bullpen is so great. Guys like Adrian Morejon. It's a dreary day in San Diego. They go to
they're showing
Petco
the ballpark
Park.
Cam at Petco right now.
I remember yesterday it was raining, right, throughout the entire day. I got football
nice
on.
yesterday.
I flipped over to some Padres baseball. It's like sunny in Chicago. I'm like, oh, these guys are going to be so upset when they come back, and it's not sunny and 75. It's warm, though. That's the problem. It's also warm.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad, though. It's been worse. A couple weeks ago was horrific. But
this is the only team in Major League Baseball that you look at right now that has the pitching. They're not freaking out about their pitching. I'm curious to see what this Brewers team is like. We saw them earlier in the season, and the Padres took 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee. I'm curious to see what you're getting a taste right now because you're going to have to play this team on the road to start the divisional series if you make it through Chicago. This is a good kind of tester, I think, for the Padres this week to see where you stack up against the Milwaukee Brewers. So we'll see what happens tonight for the Padres. One win tonight, and the Padres clinch a playoff spot. Tonight's matchup, Padres have Nick Pivetta, and the Brewers have Freddie Peralta.
Ace versus ace.
That's your two number ones. This should be like game 1 or game 2 of the divisional series if you can make it through Chicago. We'll talk more Padres baseball in the next hour, but also Aztec football looked pretty good over the weekend. Talk about what we saw there and get some sound from Sean Lewis after their victory over Cal when we come back. can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays of the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Fun weekend in the National Football League over the weekend. Great if your defense and special teams balled out over the weekend.
Great if you're a home team as well.
Also true. Only had one bad pick on Survivor picks this week. Only lost one. It's the Packers and the Browns. And here's how it laid out. I called this my misery. Watching Red Zone yesterday, Frank, and we got 2 game-winning field goals about to go off at the same time. Again, this is the beauty of the NFL. The National Football League, almost every single one of their games, every Sunday, regardless of what the team's records are coming down to the final play. The Rams blow this big lead on the Eagles. I mean, the Rams should have 2 victories in Philadelphia the last 2 times there, and they have choked both away. So they're lining up for a game-winning field goal in Philadelphia against the Eagles at the exact same time that the Cleveland Browns, Clay in the South Bay, Clay's got to be so stoked right now. With the Browns. The Browns lining up for a game-winning field goal against the Packers. Jordan Love just coughed that game away. Let me tell you. And so they're on Red Zone. They're both going to go off like the same time, which is crazy. You have 2 major football games coming down to the wire. And again, you got a game like Cleveland and Green Bay. Green Bay look like they're unstoppable in the NFC, and the Browns with Joe Flacco look like they're not even going to win a game this year based on the first 2 weeks. Week 3, never know. It's the beauty of the NFL. So they're lining up for a field goal. I tell my brother, I'm like, all right, well, we have the Packers in one of our Survivor picks. I already know how this is going to lay out. The Browns are going to make their field goal. It's going to be effortless, even though the Browns usually find ways to brown stuff up. The Eagles and the Rams, even though the Rams are a way better team than the Browns, and the Rams have had a lot of success. The Rams take care of business all the time. I'm like, the Rams are going to screw their game up, and the Browns are going to win it because we are tired of watching the Eagles win, and we don't like the Eagles. I'm not a huge Eagles guy. I got friends that are Eagles fans. I'm done with the Eagles. Okay, I don't need to see the Eagles win anymore. I think Philly fans in general are obnoxious people. Everybody ever been to Philly? Like, Philadelphia is just filled with miserable people. Like, everybody there is they just hate everything but their sports teams, and they're always trying to start stuff. They're just always. Time I went to Philly, I was there for the Army-Navy game. It's 2022. I wearing a TCU beanie because it's freezing. I only have a certain amount of things. The team issued stuff for the cold season. The guy working at the link was just starting to run his mouth about TCU football for no reason. But it wasn't like fun smack talk. It was like personal attacks. And I'm like, all right, dude, like, have fun staying here. I'm flying back to San Diego after. Like, have fun, dude.
Classic Philadelphia.
Scum. They're just miserable people. So I'm kind of tired of them being happy at this point. Like, same with Boston. Like, Boston, they're not they're not fun when they're winning. They're just obnoxious. So I'm sitting there going, like, I'd love for the Rams to win. They should have won the last time they were there until it snowed. And I literally tell my brother, I'm like, look, we need these guys to win for the Survivor pool. They're going to lose. The Packers are going to screw this up. The Browns are going to drill this field goal. And I was like, I'm tired of watching the Eagles win. Something catastrophically bad is going to happen to the Rams. And you know what? That's exactly what happened. Browns drilled their field goal. I mean, it wasn't even close to being anything. It was a perfect field goal for the game winner. I'm like, thanks, Jordan Love. Appreciate it, Packers. Let's look to Philly, which was an easier field goal. It gets frickin' blocked and taken to the house.
Second one, too.
Yeah.
Second time he got blocked in the same quarter.
Blocked. I'm like, bro, what? Jeez, man. The beauty of the NFL. The other thing that's dumb about fantasy football, this is how infuriating fantasy football is. Now, I believe for fantasy football, we're going to talk about the Aztecs in a second. I believe this is my ideal fantasy football league, okay? I don't mind like the ESPN scoring, ideal to me. I think it's ideal scoring. I think you should have 2 receivers. I think you should have a couple running backs, 1 quarterback, a flex option, a tight end, a defense, and a kicker. This is like my ideal league. And every league I play in is drastically different. I like the scoring of the ESPN leagues, but I like the overall play of my dad's league that I'm in. And in my dad's league, it's kind of crazy too. It's like it's mostly touchdown heavy, which is fine. I mean, it's kind of fun because if you they've added a little bit of yardage now to this fantasy league. But Frank, if my receiver catches a 90-yard bomb and gets tackled at the 1-yard line, he gets 0 points. You have to score. Like,
Good.
It has to be touchdowns. So, like, the bigger the touchdown, the more points you get. So you need guys that rip off huge runs or catch bombs. I mean, that's valuable in fantasy. They've added a couple things where if you get to 100 points or 100 yards, like all-purpose yards, you get like 5 points. So at least you're scoring something.
Yeah.
So, like, that scoring's a little weird, but they go 1 through whatever every week. So there's no head-to-head matchups. So you can go through the year and like whoever's got the most points at the end of the year wins. There's no playoffs. That's who wins the league. And then you win the week and you win money every week for winning the week. I like that format better with ESPN scoring. Here's how dumb fantasy football is. I'm watching my games, like the matchups I get. This week in like the league that we have with Scraby and stuff, I get to play the guy that's got the Vikings defense. Like, he's so smart. He decided to draft the Vikings. He happens to draft the Vikings defense. I get to play his team when the Vikings just tee off on Jake Browning and the Bengals, who they were a turnover machine. The Vikings defense had like 30 freaking points. It's just like, all right, well, this is going to be a loss. I have Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has like 8 points that day. I mean, first overall pick in the draft. Whatever. Jamar Chase, not going to get it done. In the other league I play in, I lost the game to a guy that only started Steelers. Do you know when I got to draw him in terms of week-to-week matchups? This is how stupid week-to-week matchups are. When they played the Jets, and everybody on their team scored a touchdown that day. What has that team done since? Gotten their ass handed to them the last 2 weeks. Why? Because the Steelers haven't been scoring at will. I mean, this is how dumb fantasy football is. I've won leagues. I'm going to tell you right now, I've won fantasy football leagues. It is all luck. The year I won last year, it is all luck. If anybody thinks that they know what they're doing in fantasy football and can tell me what a guy is going to do before he does it, I'm telling you right now, he's a liar.
Eddie Brown.
Yeah, exactly. Eddie Brown does a great job of helping us find players, but after that, it's really up to the player. Like, there's no way you would know how to predict what players are going to do. You're like, well, the matchups and everything like that. No guarantee. Here's the other thing. My teams have got, you know what? I already know for a fact that my dad's rolling his eyes. My dad is the unluckiest dude in fantasy football. He will ruin people's careers by drafting them. I mean, ruin them. You want to know I'm going to tell you right now, you want to know who my dad's got? Just think about some guy that suffers some catastrophic injury. My dad's got him. The years that Christian McCaffrey has suffered season-ending injuries, Mike Surprenant drafted him that year. I'm telling you, he's the worst.
Did he have Najee Harris?
No, he doesn't have Najee.
Okay.
But he's like the way. I can't believe it. So anyway, I mean, I drafted Xavier Worthy. Guy gets knocked out in the first game. Like, all right, well, he's done. By the way, I've had Justin Herbert the last couple of weeks, but I had Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is projected to be better. He's top 5 quarterback, fantasy football. Why would you not start him? Right? At least the first couple of weeks. So I did. Justin Herbert, who I drafted as a backup, has outplayed him the first 2 weeks. Now, Jaden Daniels gets hurt, so I have to start Herbert. I'm like, this is great. Herbert's been on a roll. Broncos just, prevent him from having a big fantasy day. That's how dumb fantasy football is. It's dumb. It's all about luck. Like, strictly about luck. Anybody that says they're skillful at fantasy football, I'm telling you right now, you're a liar. It's like clockwork. Again, I won my league last year. I'm telling you, I didn't do anything crazy. T. Higgins went off. It wasn't me going like, I think T. Higgins is going to have a great year. Jonathan Taylor went off. I picked up Kareem Hunt in the middle of the season because I needed a guy early in the year. Guys got hurt with that. I'm telling you, it's luck. But again, like, it is what it is. Like this week, Caleb Williams did well. I thought he was going to do well. Cowboys defense sucks. I mean, I got Alvin Kamara in that game against it's just 6 points. Jamar Chase having less than 10 points when he's the number one overall fantasy football guy. It's crazy, dude. Like it's just crazy. Stephon Diggs has been bad. Fair enough. But here's the deal. I usually take some losses early, which is great. Higher up on the pickups, get the right guys, start going through. What's frustrating about the head-to-head matchups in this league, aside from last year, in this league with Scraby and Chris, I've finished like top 3 every single year. I have scored the most fantasy points every single year. I go like 500 because you know who I play every week? The guy that happens to score the most points that week. That's why head-to-head matchup fantasy is stupid. If you want to play real fantasy football, go 1 through 12, whatever it is. If you win the week, you should be able to win money. And then whoever's got the most points in the year should win. That's my bitching on the fantasy football deal.
Successful at that, I believe. I believe you convinced somebody that your way
I think
is right.
people are agreeing with me right now. Now, the people that are in first that think they're all highly knowing about fantasy football are like, oh, well, I'm just a genius. And all. Like, have you ever listened to like fantasy football radio on Sirius XM?
I feel very confident I was right.
Have you ever listened to those guys? I just go like, what? Oh, yeah, this guy's going to have a great day. And then he doesn't have a great day. You know what they say? They just pretend like they never said it. It's great. Be in the predicting business. That's like being a gambling insider. If you were a gambling insider and you were really good at your job, guess what? You wouldn't exist because you would be off on an island somewhere.
Time out. We do have a couple of those on Odyssey payroll, so we may want to not.
Well,
ruffle
we
the feathers
don't put them on.
too
We
much.
don't put
No, we
them on the
don't.
air
But
ever.
still, let's
If you were good at it,
company flag.
if you were good at it, we wouldn't know you existed because you wouldn't be telling people who's going to win. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Brad Escondido, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Brad?
Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Doing well. It's a fun weekend of football, fun weekend of Padres baseball. What do you got for me today?
I got spotters, and I'll be there Friday. I'm going to come up and introduce myself to you, Braden.
Heck yeah, Brad. Is your brother coming too or no?
I will find out if my little bro Scott's coming. He's probably listening right now.
Yeah, Scott and RB, Brad and Escondido. I got to see the dynamic
There you
duo
go.
down there at Baja Ricks.
We'll be down there. Hey, the Padres are like the bad news bear, man. And I'll tell you, Merrill coming back is like Kelly getting off his bike and coming back to play. Perfect timing.
I love it.
Perfect timing, man. Definitely. And you know Arise. You know me and Arise, man. I love the guy in the lineup.
Hey, sitting 3. Hey, if he hits 350, Brad, put him at number 2. He's got to get back to that player. If you're going to talk about, not you, but people are going to talk about 3-time batting champion, I need him to hit like a 3-time batting champion and have bat second in the lineup.
Yeah, but you know what? He's like that 70-year-old guy that used to be a 6 handicap that's now a 12. He's still got the 6 inside him, and that's his brain, man. So the hitting champion is always there.
All
You
right.
know that.
Sounds good. Brad, I
See you
appreciate
Friday, man.
I appreciate the phone call. See you Friday. I told you you're going to get a couple people that win fantasy football. Think they're the all-knowers, Frank. Do you play fantasy football?
I do not know.
Play fantasy baseball?
I have before, but I haven't played in a while.
I can't do the fantasy baseball, dude. I just can't do
It's
it.
just-
I get asked
it's
every
too
year.
much to
It's
pay
too
attention
long
to.
of a season. I can't. No. Can't get it done. I can't do it.
I would, but I just never really seek it out, honestly.
Can't do it. So we'll see what happens next week in fantasy football. Again, one of my teams not now. The league that I care about the most is the one, my dad's league, where it's 1 through whatever. I don't know what the term is for that. That's the league I care about the most because that's the biggest payoff at the end of the year.
Mhm.
But also, it's like you want to see improvement, slight improvement, get back in the race a little bit. It's a long season. There's no playoffs. Win a couple of weeks, get your buy-in back. Keep going. Matchup fantasy football, I think, is a joke. That's for like amateurs. It's all about 1 through 12, whatever that's called.
Go Aztecs in the chat. You're right. I am too busy running my Hawaii dynasty, running a 12-0 Hawaii dynasty, by the way.
Wow.
Got the Mountain West Championship game coming up. I don't even know who I'm playing, honestly. I think it might be UNLV again.
I haven't played that game since I got the game.
That's a good
I don't have time to do that. I don't have time. I don't have time to do things. I got friends like, hey, do you want to go to this? I'm like, I got this going on. I got that going on. I got football. I got this. I got that. I got USD this. I got USD that. It's hard. It's hard to do. I had people ask, are you going to the baseball game tomorrow? I'm not going to the Padres game tomorrow. I'll be there maybe Wednesday. Don't know yet. Still working on that. I will be there Friday. Well, I'll be at Baja Rick's on Friday. I don't know if I'm going to be wearing TCU stuff or not. We do have our day against Sam Levitt.
You got your Dons
and
too.
I got to go coach too. Yeah. We got Granite this week. Granite's good. Granite almost beat Los Alamitos. Los Al's pretty good. So we'll be working on that. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. When we come back, we'll talk about Aztec football. I know Go Aztecs in the chat wants to talk Aztec football. They did well against Cal. We'll talk about our experience at the Aztec game when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. 11:22 on a Monday morning here in America's finest city. How about them Aztecs, huh?
How about them Aztecs?
It's like the only show, like I talked about. We're like the only show that like really dives into Aztec football. And I mean like on any station. Any station. We're the only show that actually knows what's going on with Aztecs football, at least from a football standpoint. Talked about him last week. People were getting upset at me that I said, go to the Aztec game. Did we not say go to the Aztec game?
We did.
Did I not say this is a great showing to potentially this is an audition for the Aztecs? What's the term on our show?
Right, but too early.
Right, but too early. Exactly. Here's a couple other things. People were like saying, I had to talk to powers to be. People that were born before 1995 about the entire narrative. What was the narrative last week? Nobody has ever given a bleep about Aztec football. Like nobody ever goes to their games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever went to their games. I went down memory lane with some people this weekend about Aztec football. They had a home opener one year against USC in the 90s. Marshall Faulk was on the team. Qualcomm Stadium was sold out. My bad. I thought nobody went to games. I thought nobody cared. There's a lot of times like that. At least, even in the big stadium that the Aztecs had planned to play in, right? Every single time at Qualcomm Stadium, go back and look at the attendance numbers. It was at least 25 to 30, 35, 40,000 people in attendance. That's pretty good. Stadium was sold out for Aztecs in Miami. Now those are bigger opponents. But I'm telling you, people do care about Aztec football. They would like to see a couple of things happen. One, the team get better, which is good. Step in the right direction on Saturday. Two, play better opponents. Saw it on Saturday. I mean, think about this. If they were able to get themselves, see, this is where they took a step back. The stadium, a massive problem trying to pay off a lot of that stuff because it's so expensive to go to games. Because they're trying to pay off the stadium. I'm telling you, any type of window that they had, if they had it, and I don't know how much of the window it was, I would have gone to any other conference to try for nothing just to get people to go to the games because that would interest people. Imagine if Utah was showing up on a Saturday, Frank.
Yeah.
Or BYU or Arizona or Arizona State. Or even like West Virginia. I mean, think about the Big 12. I mean, it's way more fun than watching them play Wyoming and all that stuff. And even in the new pack, whatever. I mean, Washington State got embarrassed over the weekend. Oregon State's terrible. I don't know how we could have the exciting future about the pack whatever when every team that was supposed to sell the pack are teams that are struggling this year and look like they're taking steps in the wrong direction. But that's not what we're talking about. I thought San Diego State did a great job of getting people to go to the game on Saturday. I hadn't left yet, so this is how my Saturday went. So I was going down there. I had a credential to get into the press box, and then I knew some people that were going down there. And so before I met up with some of those people to watch Washington State play Washington. And then I went down to I got down there just in time. I mean, I got there right before they shut down the credential giveaways. So I go down to the game. And before I leave, Frank tells me, this place is packed. Doesn't seem like that, but there are people everywhere. There's a buzz, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
Am I lying there?
Mm-hmm.
Not putting words in your mouth.
Nope.
So what time did you get there and take us through the buzz that you experienced before I got there?
I got there at 5:30 because I thought it was a 7 kick, not a 7:30. So I got there a little bit earlier.
You had a lot of time to stretch and move things.
Yeah, I had a lot of time to prep for the show today, actually. It was, I mean, honestly, it was a little bit more sarcastic than it ended up actually being what I sent you. But there was not a lot of people there when I got there, including in the tailgate lots. There wasn't many people. You could still move around freely, but as kickoff got closer and closer, you could start to tell the student section filled up a little bit earlier than it did against Stony Brook. The stands are starting to look a little bit more full the closer and closer you get to game time. And when the game started, I mean, you're talking a couple minutes because, of course, there's stands are never going to be packed to capacity right as the game starts because there are some people that are still in line getting stuff pregame. There's still some people in the team store and doing other things like that. But as the game started to go on, I'm starting to notice, I'm like, hey, it's not great, but it's not bad either. It's not empty like it was for Stony Brook. Now, second half, completely different story. But there was a lot of energy at the stadium last night for those who were there. Student section was packed and rowdy. The fans were there, didn't like seeing the 50-yard line, like from 40 to 40, basically empty, that was being filmed by the hard camera. That was not a great look. But other than that, everywhere else was pretty full, above average.
Yeah, I watched the first quarter in the press box, and then I walked around. I wanted to get the environment of the Aztec game. I'll tell you, when I got there at close to kickoff, like 7:20 something, the students, the line to get in the student section was ridiculous.
I heard that a lot, especially from some of the Twitter faithful, that just getting into the building was horrific yesterday. Even after kick, just getting in was awful.
I've been to a lot of games in different parts of the country. When everybody shows up at the same time, it's very difficult to get into the building. So, yeah, I was using that as more of an example of there were a lot of students there, which is great. That's part of the problem. Like it's an off-campus, even though it's San Diego State West, it's still off-campus for those kids. They don't live there, so they have to trolley over. I mean, I tell you what, the rideshare line at the end was packed.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Getting an Uber out of there was almost impossible, but that's expected. And so they had a good student section there at the beginning.
Yeah.
You felt early in that game, there was a couple of times Cal had a false start where the crowd was getting it. Sean Lewis was getting the crowd fired up and everything like that. I thought it was great.
Players were for that third quarter, that one that was close to the student section, the one in the third quarter where they had the two false starts the two false starts that pushed them back out of field goal range, and they ended up missing that field goal because it got pushed back so far. So yeah, student section definitely made a difference.
I agree. I think it was cool. I think the environment was better. I think that was a good tester. San Diego State has outscored their opponents at home, 72-0? 76 to nothing. Be great to get more people to go to the games. I thought it was a fun time. I mean, I walked around. It was cool. There was a lot of people enjoying their time there, a lot of families. The 2015 team I saw were intermingling with people. I mean, I thought overall it was a great night. And San Diego State Aztec football played well. It's a good step in the right direction. Like, a lot of people want to just cry, like, well, it's only 21,000 people. That's better than what it was.
Yeah, for San Diego State football, that's a lot. And that's a lot of new eyes with the flash sale, with the free tickets.
Correct.
That was the perfect night to have if you were San Diego State.
It is
Nothing
way
went wrong.
better to take your family to an Aztec game than it is to take them to an NFL game, especially in California.
Yes.
I will say that right now. Way, way better. Now, the prices are still high. I still think San Diego State needs to find ways to give tickets away and make like flash sales. And I know that hurts the season ticket holders because they have already spent the money for the tickets that they have. And again, you look at some of the tickets in some areas that, like the club section and everything like that, their aftermarket sales are so high. The number's so high because they try to make some of their money back. I mean, I saw tickets like $450 in those sections. That section's great,
Which is absurd.
but $450 for an Aztec game, I don't care who they're playing. That's absurd. That is SEC level pricing for football games.
Yeah, and San Diego State, please do not misconstrue what you saw the other day. This is not an excuse to go and raise prices to an obscene amount of money. The key is getting people in the building. They will spend the money when they're in there. You will get that money you're losing in ticket sales. You'll get that back in concessions. You'll get it at the team store. You will lose if you think like, oh, wow, people are going to the games. Let's jack these prices up a little bit. Let's see if they'll still go. No, they only went because the tickets were as cheap as they were. And if they stay that low, they will continue to go. But if you think, okay, well, that worked. These seats were $75. Let's raise them to 80, 85. No, you're going to be right back where you were. You're going to lose everything you gained this past weekend.
Yeah, I think the getting people in the building is the biggest deal. That to me is the seller. And anybody that I just thought it was funny. Like last week we were idiotically arguing with people that said like the stadium's great for rugby but terrible for football. I would beat my head against the wall. I can't believe I entertained that. The stadium's a nice stadium. It's a good stadium to watch sporting events. All the vantage points are great. The concessions are fun. Like it's on, again, it's a little bit on the expensive side, but at the same time, like it's a good environment for college football, for the level of college football that San Diego State plays. You just got to get more people to go. And again, there's a lot of people that have canceled season tickets because it's so expensive. It's not worth it. Like the difference is Padres fans continue to go with the pricing because it's the place to be in the summertime, and the Padres are good. San Diego State, and they play, obviously it's the Major League sports, right? It's Major League Baseball. You're seeing the best of the best. For the Aztecs, it's not worth the price of admission yet. And hopefully they could get to that point. But I thought Saturday was a great day for Aztec football.
Yeah, it was the perfect day to have a bunch of new eyes in the building and to rout a 3-0 ACC team, no matter how stupid that sounds.
ACC. Nothing says the Atlantic Coast Conference like
Cal.
Berkeley, California.
But seriously, for an 3-0 ACC team to rout them in convincing fashion, that was the perfect night for San Diego State on Saturday night.
That was a Cal team that a lot of people thought could go 9-0 to start the year based on their schedule.
And they could very well be a playoff team this year.
I still think that they can run the table in that conference because the conference isn't very good. And I think San Diego State punched them in the mouth. I mean, they look like they went in there and overlooked the Aztecs a little bit. We'll talk more about the game, hear what Sean Lewis had to say when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. 11:40 on the Fan. Braden Surprenant show. San Diego State 34-0 victory over Cal. That was fun on Saturday, huh? When asked about, like I said, Cal could potentially run their table of their opponents that they got coming up. Cal isn't running the table. In the ACC, Miami and Florida State. Well, guess who Cal doesn't play?
Oops.
They don't play Miami and Florida State. Them just getting to the ACC championship game, one, highly likely, and two, is good enough to really propel San Diego State. Boston College. Wow, what a world beater. Then they got Duke and North Carolina coming to Cal. Looked like California victories to me. Virginia Tech hasn't won a game all year. Cal could go beat them. Then they got Virginia. They're at Louisville, at Stanford, and then they got SMU. I'm telling you. There's a good chance that Cal is 10-2 at the end of the season. I think they honestly overlook San Diego State thinking about conference play. I really do. I think Cal overlooks San Diego State thinking about conference play. Aztecs punched them in the mouth, and even though that first drive for Cal, they rolled down the field. I mean, they were moving the ball at will. And then San Diego State able to hold Cal as they went for on fourth down instead of getting field goal out of it. And once San Diego State had the momentum, crowd got a little into it, and San Diego State got a victory. Let's hear real quick from Sean Lewis on bouncing back from 2 weeks ago.
We've talked a ton about response, about having emotional toughness right through the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the things that occur to respond properly. And for those guys to dig in and not concede coming into this game when opponents have gotten into the red zone, we've given up touchdowns. Like 100% of the time we've given up touchdowns. And for our guys to respond to the dig in and not concede anything there was huge, right? It keeps momentum on our boundary. And then for those guys to constantly do that throughout, I was really, really proud of that snap in and snap out from, again, really early on in the game to even, hey, in the back half, didn't matter who was in. They recognized that we got a tremendous opportunity to throw a goose egg up on the board against a really talented team, and to be able to do that in today's day and age of college football, like that's a big deal. So really proud of the effort, and it's a really big deal.
It is a really big deal. It's a big win for the Aztec program that hopefully they can build off of. But now it's like we're at the point where you got to be focused on Northern Illinois now. If they lay an egg at Northern Illinois, then you go back to square one. But if they can use this to build a little momentum on the season, might excite some people to get out there and watch the Aztecs play Boise State. I don't care how good Boise State is this year or how they're not good this year. Boise State's still Boise State. People are going to see the Boise State logo and be excited to go watch them play. They're 2-1 this year. They've bounced back after losing to USF. They were in a shootout with Air Force last week, and they beat Eastern Washington. It's not a world beater Boise State team. I mean, that's a team that San Diego State might be able to compete with later on in the year, but you want to try to build some momentum off of this win. And that's kind of what Sean Lewis talked about in terms of there's always more work to be done.
I just told the boys, like, you got 24 hours to enjoy it, right? Because we haven't arrived. There's more work to be done. It's a great, probably defining moment that we'll look back on as we go forward, that we'll be able to continue to recruit to with all these young men that are out here that I'm going to go talk to, right, as we go into a really bright future. But staying present in the here and the now, right? Like, this was really, really good. But I mean, in this day and age, you're only as good as your next performance, right? So we got to celebrate this thing the right way. And then again, it goes back to that word response, right? There's going to come a time, where on Monday we got to respond, and there's things that we got to clean up on this tape and then go back to work, because it doesn't matter in 7 days from now what this outing is, quite frankly. We got to go earn the next one and build off this opportunity. But, man, it feels good.
First time Cal's been shut out since 2019. They lost 35-0 at Utah. First time San Diego State has shut out a power conference school since 1975 when they blanked Oregon State 25-0. Back-to-back shutouts to begin the season. They have now outscored their opponents at home 76-0. Back-to-back home shutouts. And the first time in the modern era since 1947 have they been able to do that. It's a good win for San Diego State. It's time to get to today's sports thread, though. What's going on throughout the country and trending in sports?
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what do we got today in the sports world?
We have a good amount of college football stuff.
I love college football
We will
stuff.
start off with the college football rankings. Didn't really have too much time to put it into a segment today, so we'll do it here. Ohio State getting the number 1 rank with 52 first place votes. Miami up to number 2, which makes sense with Penn State being off last week. LSU, Georgia, your current top 5. Couple of the big movers. Indiana goes from 19 up to 11 after throttling Illinois. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Illinois goes from 9 to 23 with the loss. But the big news for you, at least, is who's at the bottom of the top 25.
Who's in it?
BYU, number 25, and number 24, the TCU Horned Frogs.
Frogs, big win. Won the Skillet. Here's the thing about the Skillet. Never schedule a game with SMU ever again. I'm in the minority in that conversation. That game was played for the betterment of SMU for the last decade plus. No benefit for TCU. You won it. You have eternal bragging rights. You've won the overall series. Never play the school in Dallas ever again. Make them beg you to play them. You have the Skillet now forever. Put that on a wall, bolt it to the wall, pretend you're Helix playing Grossmont. You're never giving it up again. And then never play SMU ever again. There is zero benefit to TCU playing SMU in anything. Only recently has it become a little bit more beneficial because they're in a power conference now in the ACC, which, by the way, 1-6 against the Big 12. Okay, so they're not really that great of a conference. Big 12 has owned them. SMU, little brother, couldn't beat TCU, couldn't beat Baylor. Sucks. Never play them again. Sonny, never play them again. Athletic director and Blake, never play them again. Just never play SMU ever again. Just let them be.
You happy now?
Yes, I needed to get that off my chest. I'm glad TCU's ranked the top 25. Again, we looked at the top 25 ballot again. I don't know what people are thinking. I have no qualms about TCU being 24. I think that's fine. Why in the world is Notre Dame still getting top 10 votes? Why in the world are we ranking certain teams? Like, look at LSU. What's LSU's 2 biggest wins? Clemson and Florida. This last ballot shows that you should never have a ranking until October 1st. It makes no sense, and it impacts the playoff, and it's BS, and I'm tired of seeing it. I've had my fill. All right, moving on.
Ohio State, Miami, Penn State, all getting number 1 votes. Also getting number 1 votes, Oregon and Oklahoma
You know
at
what?
6 and 7.
I would say that Oklahoma is more justified in getting a first-place vote than anybody else that got a first-place vote.
I agree with that.
They beat Michigan, who was ranked. They beat Auburn, who was ranked, which, again, the rankings are all BS. But they have 2 ranked wins.
They do.
It's hard to argue with that. They look good on Saturday. We'll talk more college football later on.
We're waiting on Florida's head coach to be fired, by the way.
Number 2.
It's going to get worse.
We got a couple stories coming out of this Syracuse-Clemson game. First of all, Syracuse may have won on Saturday, but boy, did they pay a steep cost for it. Syracuse quarterback Steve Angeli will miss the remainder of the season after tearing his Achilles. The Oranges win against Clemson on Saturday. An MRI revealed the Achilles tear, which will end Angeli's season despite leaving in the third quarter on Saturday. Angeli ranks number 2 in the country in passing yards with 1,316 yards and 4 yards behind Baylor's Sawyer Robertson for the national lead. With the injury coming in the 4th game of the year, he is expected to be able to apply for an additional year of eligibility via a medical redshirt that will give him 2 more years of eligibility. So a big loss, but down the line could be a big gain for Syracuse.
Could be a big gain for Syracuse. Yeah, especially with the way that they've been playing. LOL Dabo, by the way. LOL. Dabo Swinney, the only coach in the coaches pool to vote for his own team number 1 at Clemson. They were going to compete. What are they, 1-3? 1-3?
And wasn't Cade Klubnik like the runaway Heisman?
Yeah.
candidate?
God, yeah. I got a text at 9 a.m. at like 9 whatever, when Clemson was playing Syracuse, and my buddy goes, the tradition of Clemson blanking the bed at 9 a.m. is a tradition I am enjoying every Saturday.
Fantastic.
So great.
Number 3.
We're going to stay in South Carolina, though, as the ACC has fined Syracuse $25,000 and publicly reprimanded the school for faking injuries during their win against Clemson last weekend, calling its actions unethical and contrary to the spirit of the rules. In a statement, the ACC said Syracuse violated the NCAA rule established this year aimed at stopping teams from faking injuries to slow down play. With 9:25 left in the fourth quarter, the ACC said the action of 2 players and a coach were, quote, a clear attempt to gain an unmerited advantage by stopping the game in order to secure an injury timeout. Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik accused Syracuse of faking injuries after the loss as a way to slow down their tempo. Klubnik said, we were playing with a tempo, and props to them. They stopped us on some third downs, and they have an injury or something like that. And I was like, what is when we really got something going? That's up to them if they want to be honest about that or not. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous at this point to be discussing something like this and to penalize the team that won this game outright for quote unquote faking an injury. Prove it.
The game wasn't even that close for most of the
wasn't.
game. I mean, I can't believe whatever. It seems like, sorry, how dare you beat one of our best chances of making the playoff, Syracuse?
Absolutely.
Out of line in the ACC.
Yep.
Number 4.
Going to baseball now, the Milwaukee Brewers received some rough injury news. They have placed Brandon Woodruff on the 15-day IL with a right lat strain, putting his availability for the postseason in jeopardy. Woodruff, who returned this season after October 2023 shoulder surgery, felt something amiss in his tricep during a bullpen session on Saturday, and an initial evaluation traced the issue to the lat in his upper back. The news comes just 4 days after left-hander Jose Quintana went on the 15-day IL with a left calf strain. So the Brewers now really looking beat up as far as their postseason rotation is concerned, could lead to big things in the divisional series.
Brewers have a beat-up rotation. Phillies have a beat-up rotation. Dodgers have a bad bullpen. Cubs have no pitching. Padres have a struggling rotation. Mets, Reds, Diamondbacks, whoever it may be. Seems like this thing is wide open with pitching. Is there one team that's got dominant starting and bullpen pitching right now in the National League?
It was the Brewers.
It was the Brewers.
About a week until today.
About a week ago. Yeah. That's a good job, Frank. Appreciate you. We're going to get to the NFL whip around, and somebody got a vote in the FCS. Somebody locally got a vote in the FCS top 25. Talk about them as well. San Diego Toreros when we come back.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. New lunchtime hour brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors at 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. Today seems like a good day for Craft Taco. Practice is starting a little bit later today.
I mean, every day is a good day for Craft Taco.
Yes,
let's be
but
honest.
some days are better than others. Some days are better than others. I got to figure out what time I got to be at practice today. I was paying attention to our meetings on Saturday, and then it was like there was like 15 different times that were laid out for like the whole week because of different practices, homecoming week for the Dons, and all this other stuff. So it's like, I don't know. I got to figure it out.
Why does
It's
homecoming
ever-changing.
feel early? Like, I always thought that was towards the end of the football season.
It's usually during the league. It's just usually where they just pick whatever week, like, I don't know, works for the student body, I guess. What week are we in? Week 5? If you count week 0 as week 1, like the old school guys do?
I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
I gotta look. I mean, we're about halfway through the season almost at this point, which is crazy already. We just played our 4th game. Everybody else has 5. We took a bye early in the season, which I don't mind taking the bye early in the season. So we got, but again, it's like it's based on like how many home games you have, right? So we have, so let's like, when would you pick homecoming now, Frank? If we want to do the homecoming,
I would say
debate?
like usually like the last or second to last home game of the year would usually, like, that's always when I thought it was. It's like the last or second to last home game.
I think it depends when you have like, and because that's like it's like a dance and like all, you know, there's all this stuff that you have to do. So it was either this week, right, or like next week's at De La Salle. Can't be next week. The week after that, I'm pretty sure we are at Point Loma. It's another road game.
I know
So-
you guys are taking another flight.
Yeah,
At
we
some
have another
point.
flight. That's against De La Salle next week.
Oh,
So next Friday, I will be doing the show from the hotel. So that's fun.
wait, when?
Next Friday.
Oh, okay.
Not
I was
this
going to
Friday.
say, I was like,
The Friday,
how are we
the
doing
Friday
that?
after. The Friday after, when there's no baseball on that day, by the way. Could you believe that?
I know, right?
There's no baseball next Friday. That's just everybody's off next Friday. So it would have to be, you look at it, it's either this week, October 3rd on the road, October 10th on the road, October 17th. I guess you could have done it against Script Ranch, which is usually the homecoming for us anyway. At Lincoln, obviously not. It's on the road. And then the last week's got to be the senior day, right? Against
guys-
University City.
You guys cannot obviously tell. I really paid attention to stuff like that in high school. Like I was on top of all that kind of
I
stuff.
never voted for ASB. I never paid attention to any of that stuff. I didn't care what the themes were of anything. I went to every dance once. Just to say I went. I went to homecoming once.
I went
to formal once. I went to prom once, and I went to the senior. We have a senior boat dance. I did that, but that's like there's only one of those.
The only
you could go
things
to.
I did, I went to grad night at Disney. It was
How come
did
everybody
that.
got to go to Disneyland for grad night, and I got stuck with Knott's Berry Farm that I did not
We-
go to because
we
I
had
dislike Knott's
we
Berry
also
Farm.
we also went to Knott's Berry Farm, but we did it like now while they did the Knott's Scary Farm. So I went to that. Those are the only two things I did in school. The only two.
So when I was at St. Michael's, the 8th graders did the whole thing.
We may have gone to Six Flags. I don't remember. We might have done that.
I went to in 8th grade at St. Michael's, they used to go to Knott's Berry Farm. So I went to Knott's Berry Farm for that. I'm not a big roller coaster guy. So if you're a big roller coaster person, like Knott's Berry Farm is probably great for you. I'm not.
It was great.
Not a thrill seeker. Very cautious person. Knott's Berry Farm, like I remember I did like the log ride at Knott's Berry Farm. It was like a rundown Disneyland. Like everything was just like beat up and stuff. And I mean, it's cool if you like roller coasters. I don't. So like that to me, Knott's Berry Farm is not my cup of tea. So in 8th grade, they went to Knott's Berry Farm. We all got, and I was like, okay, cool. The year after, the class got to go to Disneyland. Changed it. They all go to Disneyland now. I'm like, what? So then I get to high school. Same thing. Seniors had it wasn't grad night though. We had grad night at some event center over here in Sorrento Valley, over by the Craft Taco. Actually, there's like this event center, there's like a zip line and all that stuff. That's where grad night was.
I remember I stood online for 2 hours to go on Space Mountain. And then after walking around aimlessly for a while, I fell asleep on the train and woke up at, I think it was like 4:15 in the morning to, oh my God, is that really the time we got to go? From just 2 random people that were just there. So that was how I spent grad night.
So I went to the grad night with the, it was at the Sorrento Valley place. They had like, they had like the fake gambling. You could play like blackjack and stuff like that. And then they had like arcade, and then they had like a zip line, and they had some other stuff. That was grad night, but they had a trip to Knott's Berry Farm. Like the seniors went on a trip to Knott's Berry Farm. I went to the Padre game instead because I was like, I'm not going to go on any ride anyway. Why would I do the senior trip to Knott's Berry Farm? That's not my deal. And then guess what? The next year, guess where they went?
Disney.
They went to Disneyland. I can handle Disneyland. I cannot handle Knott's Berry Farm or Six Flags. I'm not a thrill seeker. The level of ride that I can do is Disney level. Call me soft, call me what you want. That's who I am. I cannot handle, and I can't do everything at Disneyland. I ain't going up and down on the Guardians of the Galaxy BS. No, I'm not doing that. I'll throw up.
Did you see their, I think it's new for this year. They have like, anti-scare necklaces for Not Scary Farm this year. Where you pay something. You pay some amount of money. They give you like a light up necklace that says "Do not scare," and like if you walk through, they will not scare you. They'll see that necklace and not scare you.
Grad night was not chosen by our class, Adam. Not a cathedral. It was not. We were told where we were going.
Yeah, I don't remember it being.
I don't remember putting it up for a vote. I didn't get a vote, and if that was the case, then I didn't get the vote. Maybe ASB did it.
At least the way it was with me, it was. This is just every school in Southern California goes to Disney for grad night. They close the park down overnight, and
they have certain grad nights where they have multiple high schools there at the same time.
Oh, we had like what felt like half of Southern California was a grad night
Olympian and half of Southern California and not Cathedral.
Well,
anyway,
2011.
So they all got to go after the fact. So I got Knott's Berry Farm at St. Michael's and Knott's Berry Farm at Cathedral, and everybody after me got Disneyland. I was like, I feel
Juan just gave you a shot in the chat there.
Yeah, we are. You know what? Couldn't tell you why. That wasn't grad night. The grad night was at the Sorrento Valley place, which I guess
we had a
Script for Answers there too.
We had a bunch of senior trips. Like I said, I only went to the 2, and I remember going to Six Flags, but I don't remember when I went there for it, because that's like a good 3-4 hour drive.
Our guy Carson Arnold, Point Loma grad, got stuck with Belmont Park grad night with COVID. So that is true. Like, you know what? As much as I'm bitching about this, it could be the COVID year where seniors didn't get to do anything. But this got this little tangent we've been on. I went to everything once. I was not super into going to the dances. Super out. The only time I went to dances was when I was a junior and senior because I had a girlfriend, so I had to go. I was forced to go. Not my choice. I also did not go to, I felt bad about this. I was telling a story the other day. I still feel bad about it. One year was winter formal at Cathedral was a Sadie Hawkins dance. I was not going to go. We decided as a friend group, we were not going to go to the dance. Like everybody, the guys and the girls in the friend group, we're not going. We're not going to go to the formal. Sounds good.
What,
All right.
everyone but you go?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm not going. I've established that I'm not going. And one of my friends still asked me. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to go. So I had to do the whole, it's not you, it's me. Like I don't want to go. I don't plan on going. I felt really bad. She was upset about it. But I didn't go to formal. I didn't go to that formal. I went to formal once. It was at the RBN, is what my formal was. Which was cool. But before I got there, Cathedral used to have their winter formal at like the House of Blues, which is kind of sick. And then we had prom at the zoo. Did you go to your prom?
No, I could care less.
I know. I had a girlfriend. I had to go. So I got stuck.
I didn't. And even if I did, I couldn't care less.
Do you even know where your prom was?
No.
No idea.
Nope.
You have no idea where it was.
Anyone in chat who knows
who wants to tell us where the class of 2012,
2011 Olympian high school prom was? Anyone who knows that information, let me know, because I will be learning that for the first time as well.
Our prom was at the zoo. I don't even know where they have it anymore. The senior boat dance was cool. They take one of those like ferries that go back and forth between Coronado and San Diego, and they.
I had one of those graduating 5th grade. There was a ferry that went like up and down Fire Island on in New York that did that.
A 5th grade thing?
Yeah.
Senior boat dance, 5th grade thing. Interesting. With the ferry.
Yep.
That looked bad. June 12th. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Clay in the South Bay. He's got to be fired up about his brownies from yesterday. How about Joe Flacco, Clay?
How about Joe Flacco? How about the kicker?
That's
about
right.
The defense? How about showing up and getting a W in the talking heads that had them going 0-6 to start the season? Well, we know what they can all go do, right?
That's right, Clay.
Oh,
you know what? Who needs Micah Parsons, right, Clay? Guys, shut down Micah Parsons.
Who better to line up offside near the end of the game than somebody that thought he was all that in a bag of damn chips? That's all right. I'm going to say about him. I'm glad he's out of Texas, and I just wish the worst for everybody that wants to go out and try to get a big bag of money without running out their contracts. Hey, but other than that, that's my own cut on those things. But I will say the Padres getting 2 out of 3, that was great. And to watch, to see some of the guys actually getting the hit column that hadn't been hitting for a bit, I mean, that's good to go, but we still got to win at least one more. I'd like to see us win more, but hey, we'll do what we got to do, hopefully, and keep all the dogs away from us. And what can you say? Notre Dame also got a W. So, I mean, it was a great weekend in sports. The only thing that didn't play was Ohio State having a bye. But, hey, I can hardly wait for next weekend, boys.
That's right, Clay. Should be a fun time. Appreciate the phone call. They say Notre Dame got a dub. That's a good thing. Is he a Notre Dame and an Ohio State fan?
Notre Dame did get a win. Yes.
I know they got a win. Yeah, they're beating Purdue. Nice. Put them in the top 10.
Yeah.
Beat Purdue. Nice. Absolutely. What? What's so funny?
No, the put him in the top 10.
Check back in with Clay after week 17.
I will say, now we're not condoning this. We're also not insinuating that we should do this. But
don't put words in my mouth.
A healthy amount of public criticism for old Haley Sawyer seemed to have worked because her votes were actually normal this week. Instead of all over the place the way they had been over the season.
My vote doesn't matter.
So a nice, healthy dose of public ridicule seemed to work. Again, don't do that. We're not endorsing that. We're not endorsing or condoning that type of behavior.
You seem to be endorsing it.
But
you're encouraging people right now. Okay.
I'm just making an observation and a link. What
was Haley's ballot this week? Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Miami, Georgia.
Normal.
Oregon, Florida State, Texas, Indiana, Oklahoma.
Normal.
A&M, Iowa State, Ole Miss, Alabama, Tennessee.
Normal.
Tech, Georgia Tech, Utah, Illinois, Vandy,
Normal.
Michigan, Missouri, USC, Auburn, Notre Dame.
Normal.
No frogs, so she doesn't know what she's talking
Well,
about.
there it is. There it is.
No frogs. I don't know what that deal is. Oh, by the way, again, I like Steven Johnson. He went TCU 17 to TCU unranked to TCU 21. What are we doing? Like, it's all over the place.
Well,
Some of these ballots, man, are just crazy. How about what's our boy John Wilner doing? John Wilner's vote: Miami, Georgia, Florida State, Ohio State, Oklahoma.
Well, Miami did get 5 first-place votes, so there's one of them.
There's one of them. Ohio State 4, really?
Who were the ones that gave Oregon and Oklahoma 1?
The A&M guy, Robert Cessna, gave Oregon a vote for
Gave
number
them
one.
number
What was the
one.
other one? The Oklahoma one?
Oklahoma was the other one.
David Jemblowski, who covers Dayton and Ohio State.
God bless you.
He covers Ohio State. He voted for Oklahoma. I wonder if they told him to. We need bulletin board material. Look. We're not unanimous. We're not unanimous. Number one. Put Oklahoma up there. All right, sounds good. Wilner, A&M 6, Oregon 7, LSU 8, Penn State 9, Georgia Tech 10.
Penn State 9.
Georgia Tech 10. Georgia Tech being 10 is a little justified.
Oh boy.
Indiana 11, Tech, Texas, Tennessee, Iowa State top 15. Vanderbilt, USC, Missouri, Alabama, Notre Dame, Michigan, Ole Miss, TCU, Memphis, USF.
Memphis. What's Memphis's record?
They beat Arkansas on Saturday at home.
Again,
they beat Arkansas.
Thank you.
Everybody can beat Arkansas.
Thank you.
Except for Kansas.
For Kansas, it's your Kansas.
Your
not
Kansas.
Our Kansas.
That's
It's
your Kansas, and this is our Kansas. Yeah, exactly. Some of these votes are kind of crazy, but you know what? I like seeing like the outliers. Like somebody's got BYU 12. Some people have BYU unranked. It's so funny. Like some of these things, like some guys got TCU 17. I mean, what have we done to beat 17? I don't know. Some people got Penn State outside of the top 10. In fact, 2 voters have Penn State out. 3 of them have Penn State out of the top 10.
They haven't been as overwhelmingly dominant as they should have been this year.
They never are.
But seriously, it's embarrassing to have them outside the top 10.
One's got 2 people have Penn State at 12 behind A&M and Texas Tech and Missouri. And somebody's got the Ohio State guy's got Penn State at 11. I'm telling you, some of this stuff is just kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. By the way, you know who got a vote? You got a vote this week in the FCS after a big win on the road?
Congratulations.
The San Diego Toreros, huh?
Atta boys.
How about them Toreros?
I don't have a voice line for that one.
We don't. We need Brandon Moore to say how about them Toreros in a press conference.
Yeah, I don't have a voice line for that one.
USD went to Princeton over the weekend. They were down 35-7. They won 42-35. They scored 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter.
Good on you, boys.
San Diego got 1 vote in the FCS top 25.
Good
Somebody
job.
had them at 25, which is interesting because Cal Poly didn't get a vote and neither did Southern Utah, and those are 2 teams USD has played already. In fact, USD has lost. They lost to Cal Poly. They got smoked.
Oops.
They also played Montana State on the road, who's 6th in the country at 2-2. That's neither here nor there. But anyway, there's your college football stuff for the day. When we come back, NFL whip around time. Braden Surprenant show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. We're going to be giving away tickets to the Padres and Diamondbacks coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. We're going to have a trivia question for you to answer. But coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, if you answer the trivia question correctly, you will win 2 tickets to the Padres game versus the Diamondbacks this Friday. Join the Padres for the Hispanic Heritage Celebration when they host the Diamondbacks in the final regular season homestand. More info at Padres.com/Hispanic Heritage. This hour of the fan is the noon lunchtime hour brought to you by the Craft Taco. Both flavors at 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. And sports talk on the fan, more specifically NFL talk that we're about to get to, is presented by Paramount Plus. Sylvester Stallone is back in the original hit series Tulsa King. This season, Dwight faces his most dangerous adversaries yet, forcing him to fight for everything he's built to protect his empire. Stream the new season of Tulsa King starting Sunday, September 21st, which was yesterday, exclusively on Paramount Plus. It's now officially fall, by the way, Frank.
I haven't fallen yet, so that's good.
That's good. We're off to a good start.
Yes,
it is fall. We got a little bit of fall weather the last couple of days, but I guess it's supposed to be hot again.
Don't say that.
I'm just giving you the weather report, dude. You got the app. You can read it. I'm not cursing anybody. Me reading the weather app is not cursing the weather by speaking it into
I didn't say you were
existence.
cursing it. I was just saying don't say it.
Don't say it. Don't remind you.
Exactly.
All right. We're now officially in fall, which means we got the NFL to talk about, which means it's time for the NFL whip around.
It is time for the NFL whip around, and we'll start off, of course, with Thursday's final, which was the Buffalo Bills taking down the Miami Dolphins 31-21 out in Buffalo. Braden, any last comments about that game that you didn't get to on Friday?
Josh Allen, 3 touchdown passes. Terrell Bernard's pick secured the Bills' win over the Dolphins. Dolphins are struggling. Dolphins are bad. Dolphins head coach and general manager are going to get fired. Bills look pretty good. 3-0 start. It looked bleak at the beginning of the first game of the season against Baltimore. They roared all the way back to win. The more Baltimore wins, which they played tonight at 5:15 against the Lions, the more that win looks better for the Bills. Bills are legit. Bills are probably the team to beat right now in the AFC. On to Sunday.
Talked about it before. Clay in the South Bay, very, very happy about the Brownies with a walk-off win over the Packers. Here's how it sounded.
Good snap. Good hold. The kick is on the way. The kick is good.
That was Kevin Kugler on NFL on Fox. Brownies take care of the Packers 13-10.
That's what's great about the NFL. You got a team like the Browns, 0-2, taking on 2-0 Green Bay Packers. Super Bowl or bust for the Packers. Browns might start the season 0-6. Instead, they win 13-10. They scored 13 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Packers had a 10-0 lead in the fourth quarter. Browns overcome it. Costly mistakes by Jordan Love late in that game. He needs to be better for the Packers. Browns get the victory. I lose the survivor pick. Moving on.
Now 3-0, the Indianapolis Daniel Joneses is
Indiana Jones?
Yes.
Can we call him Indiana Jones?
Take down the Tennessee Titans, who fall to 0-3, 41-20 in Tennessee.
Colts, I still think, are fake good. Even though they did what they needed to do and they beat a bad team and they beat them up and Indiana Jones has been playing well, I still think they are a pretender. I don't think they're one of the best teams. But I tell you what, they're getting better and better every single week. Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, 18 for 25, a touchdown, 228 passing. Cam Ward's got a lot of problems around him. It's not a lot going on. Tony Pollard can't be an every down back. He had 16 carries for 45 yards. He did get that touchdown, which was our bold prediction that we talked about on Friday. There's just not a lot going on in Tennessee. And every time I watch the Titans play, I say what I said last week when I was at the Titans game. You know what? They could really use a guy like A.J. Brown. They could really use a guy like Derrick Henry. They could really use a coach like Mike Vrabel. Bad decisions have made the Titans the worst team, or one of the worst teams in the NFL. Colts improved to 3-0. Titans still looking for their first win.
Want to watch one of the worst games in the NFL? Boy, it looked like two teams were playing with backups. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings go to 2-1 after beating the Bengals 48-10.
Jake Browning, awful. I don't know why they didn't get Brett Rippon in there earlier. Jake Browning, 19 for 27, 140, a touchdown. He threw 2 picks. Minnesota's defense all over it. They forced a couple of fumbles. The Bengals had 5 players fumble. They had 5 team fumbles. They lost 3 of them. They re-recovered 2 of them. But 5 fumbles and 2 interceptions. They were a turnover machine. Bengals did not look like a team that was 2-0. I know they didn't have Joe Burrow, but I can't believe how they looked against a Vikings team that looked pedestrian at best against Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta ran Minnesota out of the building last Monday night. This week, bounced back. Carson Wentz, 14 for 20, 173, 2 touchdowns. And what did we say about the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell? The quarterback whisperer. It doesn't really matter who plays quarterback for Minnesota. Whoever plays quarterback for Minnesota is going to be good. Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz. I mean, they don't even need to spend money on a quarterback. Kevin O'Connell, quarterback whisperer. Carson Wentz is back, like Texas. Next.
One team who is not back is the New England Patriots as they fall 21-14 and fall to 1-2 after losing to the now 2-1 Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday.
Steelers got to be one of the most luckiest teams I've ever seen. I just Patriots fumbled twice going into the end zone yesterday. Patriots just squandered so many opportunities. Steelers are just Steelers are also fake good. They're 2-1. They beat the Jets, who are 0-3 and terrible. They just beat a Patriots team who still hasn't been able to win in Boston all year. Should I say Foxborough? Aaron Rodgers has been good, but not great. I mean, this is a Steelers team that, again, is fake good. They're 2-1 on the season. You know, Rodgers 16 for 23, 139, 2 touchdowns, a pick. He was okay. Drake May outplayed him, 28 for 37, 268, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. But Drake May can't do it all. And unfortunately, he's got his number 1 receiver is Hunter Henry. He had a good day. 8 receptions, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. I can't believe Stephon Diggs needs to show up. He needs to be that deep threat that the Patriots were expecting.
Absolutely.
Steelers fake good.
Close game in Philadelphia between the Rams and the Eagles. Here's how it ended.
Joshua Carty has it blocked again! This time Jordan Davis, the big man, looks for the icing on one big cake. Eagles hang on.
Good friend Joe Davis on NFL on Fox. Eagles beat the Rams 33-26. Eagles 3-0 on the year.
Rams had a 26-7 lead with 14 minutes left in the third quarter after Kyron Williams caught a 10-yard touchdown pass. 1 play, 10 yards, 6 seconds off the clock. They went up 26-7, and at that point I texted my friend, Eagles are getting worked right now, and the Eagles ripped off 28 unanswered points, and the Rams just kept turning it away. They kept just missing out on opportunities. The second time the Rams have gone to Philly, had a lead, and just blew it in Philadelphia. Matt Stafford, 19 for 33, 196 and 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams, 20 carries, 94 yards. But the Eagles did exactly what they needed to do. They run the ball with Saquon Barkley near the end of the game. All of a sudden, you're sitting there going like, is A.J. Brown still on this team? That's when they find A.J. Brown late in the game. He ended up with 6 receptions for 109 and a touchdown. The brotherly shove continues to play. Eagles improved to 3-0. They got a lot of breaks from the Rams yesterday, including the 2 blocked field goals.
You're talking about football in New York. You're talking about a loss, and here's another one.
From 36, this is for the win. McLaughlin's kick is right down the middle. McLaughlin, the game winner. Tampa Bay now 3-0.
Kenny Albert on the call with NFL on Fox as the New York Jetropolitans fall to 0-3 against the now 3-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 29-27.
I like the way the Jets fought back in this game. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, the Jets were getting smoked, and they put up 21 points in the fourth quarter. That's very impressive. I mean, the Bucs looked like they were cruising to a victory. They built up this big lead. Jets with a great fourth quarter. Tyrod Taylor, 26 for 36, 197 and 2 touchdowns. Tyrod Taylor, that guy's got to be in the NFL forever.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way the Jets finished that game.
I think that's a step in the right direction for Aaron Glenn and company. I saw Aaron Glenn after the game. He was clapping up for his boys. I mean, they lost by a game-winning field goal on the road in Tampa. I think it's a step in the right direction for the New York Jets. I love to crush the Jets. I think it's fun to.
It is fun.
It's fun to kick the Jets. But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I like the way the Jets finished that game. Baker Mayfield had a good game, 19 for 29, 233 and a touchdown. Also used his legs a little bit, four carries for 44 yards. Overall, good performance out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They kind of lost it late. I like the way the Jets finished in that game.
Start going through these a little bit quicker here. The now 1-2 Las Vegas Raiders falling to the now 2-1 Washington Commanders, 41-24 in Washington.
Marcus Mariota getting it done for Washington. Didn't even need Jaden Daniels.
Running
Terry
Dan Quinn over too.
Can someone put out an MIA for Terry McLaurin? Can somebody go find him, please? He's on my fantasy team. I don't know where Terry McLaurin is. Do the Commanders know that Terry McLaurin's on their team? I mean, how many targets did Terry McLaurin have? He had 3 receptions for 74 yards. Hello, McFly. Hello, anybody home? Terry McLaurin, where is he? Come on, Marcus.
Adam,
Raiders continue to Raider, by the way.
Adam, close your ears. Carolina Panthers.
Oh my God, Adam.
God-awful team.
Oh my God.
30-0 against the Atlanta Falcons.
The beauty of the NFL, dude. The beauty of the NFL. You had the Falcons who looked like they could be a playoff team last week when they ran Minnesota out of the building. Literally ran them out of the building with Bijan Robinson. They get blanked by the 0-2 Panthers, who I thought was going to lose every single game this year. I mean, that was I don't even know. I don't know how Adam does it. I don't know how he does it with the Falcons, dude. I don't get it. The Falcons are the only team in Atlanta that didn't get the memo that we're not going to be the Atlanta sports city that always chokes. They're the only team that hasn't got the memo on that yet. Every other team in Atlanta and in the state of Georgia has overcome the problems. Braves, World Series winner. Georgia football, multiple national championships now. I mean, what are the Falcons doing? They didn't get the memo.
Even Atlanta United has had some good seasons in the MLS.
I mean, if the Hawks, maybe the Hawks are doing the same thing. I don't watch the NBA, so I couldn't tell you on the Hawks. But the Falcons are vintage Atlanta sports, and I can't believe it. I can't believe it. They got their ass kicked on Sunday.
CJ Stroud also got his rear end kicked on Sunday. 0-3 now are the Houston Texans after losing 17-10 to the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville.
Is that it of the morning games?
That is the last of the morning games.
All right, we'll finish up with that, and then we'll come back with the afternoon and the night slate. Texans might be really bad. Is CJ Stroud not good anymore? Was he fool's gold? Was he fool's gold in his first year? I mean, I thought he was the best quarterback in that draft, and he looked like it in that first round. Or sorry, the first year. Sophomore slump. Now, I mean, they're just reeling. That's a game that they should win against Jacksonville, even though Jacksonville's off to a good start. Texans are in some serious trouble right now. When we come back, we'll finish up the NFL Whip Around. Plus, we need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's Onward Sports Station 97.3 The Fan.
All right, coming up in this segment, we're going to play the Midday Sports Standoff. And when we go to break, we will be asking a trivia question to give away Padres tickets for Friday's game against the Diamondbacks. So stay tuned for both of those things. For our Midday Sports Standoff, if you could take me down to sports trivia, you would qualify for a chance to win our grand prize, a trip to see the Eagles at Sphere Las Vegas, including 2 tickets to the show on January 30th, the 2-night stay at the Venetian Resort Las Vegas, a Vibe VIP package, and a $100 gas card. Eagles have added 2026 shows to the band's residency at Sphere in Las Vegas on Friday, January 23rd, Saturday, January 24th, Friday, January 30th, and Saturday, January 31st. The residency now features a total of 48 shows from Friday, September 20th through Saturday, January 31st, 2026. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. All right, let's finish up this whip around real quick.
Let us do that, as a matter of fact.
Sunday's game. Sunday in the afternoon. Broncos and Chargers, Frank.
Yep, Broncos, Chargers. This one again coming down to another walk-off kick. 3-0 now are the Los Angeles Chargers after winning 23-20 against the now 1-2 Denver Broncos. All 3 of those wins, divisional wins, by the way, for the Chargers.
Which is great news for the Chargers to start 3-0. They have beat every team in the division so far. They got to play all those teams again. They gave up the home game for the Kansas City, for the Brazil.
Yes.
All right, so they got to go to KC. They get to play the Raiders at home, and they're going to go play the Broncos on the road. I'm surprised we're not getting inundated with all the bandwagoner fans in San Diego that want to call in and talk about how great their Chargers are again.
You know what the best thing about watching that game yesterday was?
Not caring who won?
That stadium was orange.
Every single time the Broncos did something well,
orange.
That place was bonkers. Every touchdown for the Broncos, every turnover for the Broncos, that thing was orange. Absolutely. By the way, not a bandwagoner fan. A good fan, a good Chargers fan. Richard in Paradise Hills. I'm expecting a phone call. Where are you at? You got to be fired up about your Chargers being 3-0. Where are you at? Richard in Paradise Hills. Give me a phone call.
Going from 3-0 to 0-3. Yay. The New Orleans Saints.
The Aints.
Had a time.
We have to call them the Aints at this point.
They had a time against the Seattle Seahawks, who are now 2-1 after a 44-13 bludgeoning of the Aints.
The Aints. They're bad top to bottom. Everywhere around. That's the Saints, the Aints are so bad. Their special teams are horrid. Their offense is horrid. Spencer Rattler is awful, which is what we said, or at least Friday, I said, before he even got drafted. This guy's terrible. There's no way he's going to make it in the NFL. Has he even won a game yet in the NFL? I think he's like 0-9,
sure.
0-10, 0-9. He might be 0-9 after losing to Seattle. He's not the answer. I think Kellen Moore is a terrible head coach. I thought he was a lousy offensive coordinator.
Bless you.
I don't see this ever getting better for the Saints. The Aints. They got crushed. Feel bad for all, they got good play. They got good skill players. They got 2 San Diegans on that team, and then Olave and Rashid Shaheed, but they're not good, man. They're bad. They're going to continue to be bad.
Another team that's bad.
Their defense is bad.
Not the Chicago Bears, as the Dallas Cowboys had a little bit of an issue throwing the ball to their own colors.
4th and goal. Cowboys have to have it. Prescott looking. Can't find anyone floating. Intercepted again by Tremaine Edmonds. His second on the day, and the Bears take over.
Kevin Burkhardt on NFL on Fox. Bears come away with a 31-14 victory.
I told Perez on Saturday, I said, I'm not feeling good about the Bears, dude. Not feeling good about the Cowboys' chances against the Bears. Cowboys defense, paper mache. Cowboys defense is bad. Cowboys defense could use a guy like Micah Parsons.
They got Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, sweet. I mean, that's, Jadeveon Clowney hadn't done anything since he destroyed that dude from Michigan in the Outback Bowl. That's it. One time he's made an All-Pro. That's it.
One of the greatest ball don't lie moments in NFL history. The Arizona Cardinals, this was a game to see who would stay undefeated, and it would turn out to be the San Francisco 49ers by the slimmest of margins. Niners beat the Cardinals 16-15.
That was a good game. I thought that was a fun game to watch. I mean, it was better if you're a defensive-minded person like myself. Niners don't need Brock Purdy. Kept trying to tell people they can win without Brock Purdy. They built a good team around him. I mean, it's a bit about the team. They got guys like Christian McCaffrey, and even with less weapons than Brock Purdy had the last couple of years, they're still winning without Brock Purdy. Mac Jones winning games for the Niners. 27 for 41, 284, touchdown, and a pick.
Good job, bud.
Good for Mac Jones.
Final game, once again, if you're talking about New York football, you're talking about a loss. New York Giants fall to the Kansas City Chiefs 22-9. Russell Wilson looks horrific.
They brought Jackson Dart in. They brought him in, and then they took him out. Leave him in. At this point, it's time for Jackson Dart. The Giants cannot win with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson it's done. He's done. He's washed up. He's too old. He's too fake with all this stuff. He's maybe, with all of his success that he had in Seattle, maybe it was just a Legion of Boom. And it wasn't Russell Wilson because
starting to look more and more like it.
Is terrible. He's terrible. He cost them the only chance they had at winning was against the lousy Cowboys defense. And he throws a pick in overtime. I mean, they could potentially tie that game or win. Throws a pick. Cowboys end up winning the game. Last night against Kansas City is just not very good right now.
No,
they are not good.
It is not the same Chiefs team from 2 years ago.
That's what happens when you pay people.
This team resembles the team last year. They were not good.
Yeah, they're not as good.
The reign of terror for the Chiefs is over. You know what is not over? Hasn't even begun, as a matter of fact. It would be the midday sports standoff.
Let's get to it.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
It's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right. Who's playing today?
We have Terry in Mission Valley today. Terry, how you doing, bud?
Terry.
Hey, pretty good. How you doing?
Good. So we have a fairly simple topic here. I will say this with this topic. There are 6 possible answers to this. One of the answers you think is only one answer. It's actually 2. And the topic would be ways to score in a football game. It's that simple. How do you put points on the board in a football game? Terry, you are first.
Yeah. I'll go 50.
Yep. Safety, correct. There was the buzzer there.
There's the correct answer. Touchdown.
Touchdown, correct.
Go with the field goal.
Field goal, correct.
2-point conversion.
2-point conversion, correct.
That's an extra point also.
Well, you're tied now.
I did the extra point already. With point after attempt, didn't I?
No, you said 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion. And there's one more?
There is one more. Like I said, well, Terry, you're already qualified. This is a tie now. Yeah. Just trying to wipe the board clean.
All right. Taking a 2-point conversion or a blocked PAT to the house to score 2 points.
Yeah, I'll give it to you because that would be. I mean, you could say it's a defense. You could say it's a special team touchdown.
It's a defensive.
It is a defensive.
Play.
It is a defensive touchdown, which is, as I said, one. Something you think is 1 is actually 2. Offensive touchdown, 2-point conversion, defensive touchdown, safety, field goal, PAT. Those are your 6. Simple as that. Terry, I'll get your information during the break.
What about a free kick?
Listen, dude, I'm not looking for you're the one that's telling me not to get in the weeds with all these. You're asking me now for a free kick.
I'm just saying. Travis Gundy put it in there too.
Another guy who yells at me all the time for getting in the weeds with these questions. I tried to do an easy layup for you guys, get somebody qualified, which is exactly what we did. And now I'm getting ridiculed for not going deep enough into the weeds.
Yeah.
Never please you people.
No. There's a kid on our team that I coach. He's a great kid. He plays safety and like he does a good job, and he always like, we got to keep him humble. So he goes, he always likes saying, "Coach, did you see that big play I made?" Yeah, but it could have been like slightly better. And like eventually he was like, "I just can't win with you guys. It's just every time I just can't win with you guys." My guy Noah, he makes great plays all the time. He got a pick on Friday against the
Helix. Boy.
And
did you tell him you didn't put the fingers on the seams when he caught it?
He got the pick, and then he was kind of returning it, and he kind of tripped.
Oh,
he got tackled, and so he's like, "Oh, coach, you see my pick?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it would have been better if you scored." So I don't know what to tell you. He's like, "Oh, I thought I had this one." Nope. All right. When we come back, we're gonna tell you how you can win tickets to the Padres game on Friday. We'll talk about that, plus get back to some Padres baseball. We'll talk some high school football and finish up the show on the Braden Surprenant Show.
This hour 97 to the fans brought to you by IHOP. Introducing the IHOP value menu where all your breakfast faves are just $6 each every day. Where else can you get a big, filling, sit-down breakfast for only $6? Go to your Happy Plates with the $6 IHOP value menu, available every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. It's the $6 value menu. Sometimes it's $7, I guess, in certain deals.
Only with tax, though.
Yeah, well, then you have taxes, and you have Anyway, IHOP. I can't tell you last time I was at IHOP.
It's been a while for me. Probably beginning of the year, I would assume.
I love the Jim Gaffigan bit on IHOP. I never leave there feeling like hopping. Should be like, I barely move.
Yep.
So, anyway, there's that. We want to get into some college. We're going to talk more Padres baseball at 1:30. Final homestand of 2025. It's Brewers and Padres. Here's the deal about tonight. We'll kind of tease it a little bit, and we'll talk more about this game coming up. We talked about our open today. It's a fun finish for Major League Baseball. Couple of things that are still in play for the Padres, okay? Let's talk about it from a wild card perspective, of course. Now, the Padres are 3 games behind LA and 3 games behind Chicago. I don't think they pass either of them, as we've determined. Padres have to go 6-0, and both the teams have to go 3-3. I mean, really, in reality, the Padres have to go 6-0, and the Dodgers have to go 2-4 for you to pass them. Take that for what it's worth. Dodgers have the Diamondbacks this week and the Mariners over the weekend. The Padres have the Brewers this week and the Diamondbacks over the weekend. And as for the Cubs have the Mets this week and they have the Cardinals over the weekend. So Padres still could potentially have some movement in terms of what seed they get. It's going to be the 5 seed, would be my guess if I was a betting man, which I am not. I think the Padres get the 5 seed. I think that's almost locked up. They got a 5-game advantage on Cincinnati and the New York Mets. And they have a 6-game advantage on the Diamondbacks for that final wild card spot, too. And if the Padres win tonight, they will clinch a spot in the postseason. With a win tonight, the Padres will clinch a spot in the postseason. Tonight is clinch night for the Padres. Win and you're officially in. So that's what's at stake for the Padres against the Brewers. Brewers have a decent enough lead over the Philadelphia Phillies where they will probably get the 1 seed. They have a 3-game lead on Philadelphia. So most of these things are 3-game leads. Go Aztecs. I bet tomorrow you still get people saying they won't make the playoffs even with a win. That's hilarious. It's been like the case for really the last month or so. So the Brewers have a good enough lead on the Philadelphia Phillies. They'll probably get the 1 seed. Philadelphia has a big enough lead on the Dodgers, a 4-game lead on the Dodgers. They'll probably get the 2 seed. Dodgers have a 3-game lead on the Padres, which means they have a good enough lead to probably get the 3 seed. And the division title, Cubs have a 3-game lead on the Padres. Again, could be in the air. Who knows? It's still a glimmer of hope. But that's another one.
You could potentially, if you want to flip there's still a chance that the Padres can flip the wild card in their favor where they get to host the Cubs instead of going to Chicago. They have to have a big week this week, though, against a team that is in the playoffs and a team that is a game out of the playoffs. So that's how everything really shakes out for the Padres this week. 6 games left, 3 against Milwaukee, 3 against Arizona, all at home. If the Padres finish up this homestand really well, we'll see what happens on Sunday to see if the Padres can outdo the Cubs, who have now lost 4 in a row. They got swept by the Reds over the weekend. Again, a lot of teams in the playoffs not playing good baseball. Brewers lost yesterday. Phillies lost 2 in a row. Chicago's lost 4. The Dodgers have been struggling since the All-Star break. Padres got 2 back, but they didn't look good in New York. And the New York Mets have been just in a free fall in the last couple of weeks. They've lost 2. Cincinnati's the only team that's really been on a tear, and they've won 5 straight. And again, they have navigated a very difficult schedule here in the second half of the season. And I think, honestly, and the question was at the beginning, like when we were doing our transition between the morning show with Ben and Woods and then our show, Paul asked the question, like, he's more confident in the Mets taking down the Dodgers in the wild card than the Reds. And like the more I think about it, with the Reds and the way that they've played in the last couple of months, in the last month or so, the way they've been playing, I feel like the Reds could probably sneak up and get somebody in the first round. They might be able to bite somebody in the first round. If you're the Dodgers, like who would you rather play, the Reds or the Mets? I'd probably rather play the Mets right now, the way they're playing. I wouldn't want to play the Reds. Reds are playing with house money. They're playing with house money right now. They got young players. They got exciting players. They got a manager that is a veteran guy that knows how to win in Terry Francona. Cincinnati is playing good baseball. The Mets are not. If I'm the Dodgers, I'd rather play the Mets. I could ask Frank, who is being a miserable Mets fan right now, but I think that'd be if you're the Dodgers, who would you rather play, Frank?
I'd rather play the Mets.
I'd rather play the Mets, too. If I'm the Padres, I'd rather play the Mets. We've done better against the Mets than we've done the Reds. I mean, lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds twice. 2 and 4 against the Reds all season. Much rather play the Mets than the Reds. So there could be something to be said about that. Reds have a chance this week. Now, if you're a Padres fan, you would really like the Mets to win. Over the next 3 days, give yourself a chance to potentially tie Chicago, and then we're hosting Padres baseball next Tuesday instead of watching them play Chicago. Who knows what time those games would be, by the way, in Chicago? I mean, that could be during our show, I guess.
Yeah, those might be. There's a chance that those could be 11:20 starts out here.
You know what? Padres just kind of let the Brewers win. I think it'd be okay. The pregame show is great. I love the pregame show. I tell you what, those games aren't
fastest show in history.
Those games aren't going to start at night. I mean, they're going to be. I think even if they're night games in Chicago, it'll start at like 4:00. But it might be a 5:00 start in Chicago, which would give us a 3:00 start. So it's still, we would be going right into the pregame show. We'd still be the pregame show. It's a win-win for us playing the Chicago Cubs. Now, if that series is here, they're going to be the night series for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, because they got LA. They're not going to have the Dodgers play at the same time. They're going to have the Dodgers are going to get the night game, I would imagine. Especially if they play the Reds. If they play the Mets, that might change. But it's interesting on the timing. I didn't even think about that. Does anybody really care about the timing of these games for like the first round of the playoffs?
You do right now.
I mean, right now it's interesting.
There's a topic that you're trying to avoid here.
No, I'm going to get to that next. I want to get to that next.
Okay.
That and some high school football at the end. I wanted to tease the Brewers and Padres stuff. It's a recap. The first hour is a recap. I'm still in the lead, by the way. I got to let you guys try to catch up to make you feel good about yourself.
Okay.
Most of those picks were okay. I mean, it's not like you guys you guys went 500.
Which was kind of disappointing as I'm looking at it. I'm like, geez, the way these were racking up at the beginning, it looked like we were going good.
All right. So I go back to the let's go to the I got to look up the schedule, but like the playoff schedule and thinking about TV times.
So
you're going to have next Tuesday you're going to have two National League, you're going to have both National League wild card everybody's in action.
You're probably going to be the second game because they're going to put Cleveland Detroit would be the first one. That would be the first game.
They always do that one early, right?
Then it would be Padres Cubs, and the reason why it'd be Padres Cubs is because after that would be Yankees Red Sox before you go Dodgers Reds.
I would think so too. They're going to have Yankees Red Sox in prime time on the East Coast.
Yeah,
that's a given.
But again, they don't always let a game finish before they start the next one. So there's a chance like we get a 1:00 start for Padres Cubs here. You get a 1:00 start for Cleveland Detroit, and then like a 4:00 start Eastern time.
Here's
for Cubs Padres.
Here's what they're gonna do. Here's my guess. And this is all gonna change because the Red Sox could still be the 6th seed, which would be awful for Major League Baseball. They want to see Yankees Red Sox. But the American League, we haven't talked about the American League. We did in our opening, but like Cleveland could be the 3 still. They're only a game back of Detroit. Detroit could be out of it. Houston's hanging on, but like they're currently out of a playoff spot. But if everything started today, which it doesn't, there's still 6 games left, and these things can change a lot. My guess would be the American League Central game is going to be the morning game. That game's going to be the first game of the day. I think that's a guarantee. Mm-hmm. I also think that Yankees Red Sox will be the second to last game, as you mentioned, because that's going to be an East Coast primetime game, but not a late night start. Yep. So that's going to be the 5:00 game on the West Coast. So that's going to be the third game of the day. And then it comes down to Reds and Dodgers and Padres and Cubs. And to me,
you're not starting the Padres Cubs after the East Coast start of the Yankees and in Chicago, you're not starting that game after
Padres Cubs is a better series anyway than Dodgers Reds. If you have to put a game on late night, it's going to be the Dodgers Reds game because people are going to stay up late for the Dodgers.
That, and it's going to be out here, so it'd make the most sense.
Right. Well, but the other thing too is even if the Padres get the 4 seed and they're both on the West Coast, Padres are playing in the day. The Dodgers are playing night.
Oh, if they swap,
even if the Padres catch the Cubs, let's just say they catch the Cubs this week and they get to host, I still think they get the afternoon game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Over the Dodgers and Reds.
I would agree. They would want the most eyes on the most competitive game, which would be Padres Cubs.
So my guess is next week when we're talking about
bless you.
When we're talking about next Tuesday, Padres Cubs playoffs, it's going to be the second game of the day. They're not going to put the Red Sox and Yankees on in the middle of a workday.
No, that is going to be prime time in New York, in Queens, in the Bronx.
That's going to be the third game of the day. It won't be the last game. It's not going to be the first game. It's definitely not going to be in the middle of a workday on the East Coast. That game's going to be the third game of the day.
Sounds like we're getting preempted twice next week.
It's possible. And then maybe a third time if you have to go to game 3, which I hope is not the case. That's kind of how it's playing out.
We probably are. It'd probably be 4 times because I'm assuming we're doing a Padres roundtable on that Thursday, no matter what.
Unless the game is during the roundtable, then yeah.
But probably we're most likely getting preempted 3 times.
And then Friday, we're off. I mean, the Padres are off, so we got a full show on Friday. And then hopefully we're talking about Saturday at that point.
Yep.
Sam's Padres and Pancakes. If we get Sam's playoff Padres and Pancakes, he better bring some. Especially if TCU beats his ass on Friday. Oh, wait, wrong Sam Levin. So that's how everything plays out for the Padres playoff picture. The American League's crazy, by the way. I mean, you look at the American League of where everybody's at right now. It's going to be fun with Cleveland and Detroit and Houston and the Red Sox. Cleveland's a game back from Detroit. They've won 9 of their last 10. Detroit's lost 6 in a row. They've lost 9 of their last 10. Detroit is close to potentially not making the playoffs. Imagine the year that Detroit's had and then the collapse and then not making the playoffs.
Weren't they like the first to reach 50, 60, 70 wins, and then they have just fallen.
The second half has been brutal for them.
They have done the exact opposite of what they did last year. They were doing what Cleveland is doing right now this time last year.
Yeah,
and now it's getting done to them.
Because they went on this magical run last year in August and September and made the postseason. On the flip side, I'm sure every team wants the playoffs. We're probably the worst team going to the playoffs. That's not even close to being true. It's definitely the Mets. The curse of the jersey, Frank.
They're not going to make it.
They're not going to make it. This is the first time I agree that they're not going to make it.
It has nothing to do with it. It's because of what just happened on the screen right now.
That catch is what got you.
It was that catch yesterday by
and the
Young.
home run robbery.
It was no.
They had 2 of them. He had the home run robbery, and then he also had the one off the foot.
No, it was the one off the foot. A home run robbery can happen. What doesn't happen is a guy getting the ball knocked out of his glove by the wall, then kicking it back up to himself.
Hacky sack style.
To make the catch. That does not happen every day. We are in the card of PTSD wild card miss. We are in card right now. It's over.
Card miss.
And what did I tell you? What did I tell you 2 weeks ago when that schedule came out? If there were 2 teams that were going to knock the Mets out of the playoffs, it was going to be Washington and Miami.
And Miami this weekend.
If it was going to be 2 teams, it was going to be the 2. It was going to be the Nationals and the Marlins.
The Mets are going to beat up on the Cubs this week, and then the Marlins are knocking them out of the playoffs.
They're going to destroy them.
I can't wait.
Tigers, by the way, are 5-13 this month.
They're awful. Tigers have been beyond awful the second half of the season. So back to the American League. Detroit's got a 1-game lead on Cleveland. They play Cleveland this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then Detroit's got to go to Boston, and Boston's only got a game lead on Cleveland, which means they're tied with Detroit. So there's a good possibility that Detroit and Boston are playing to get the last seed in the playoffs too. Houston's on the outside looking in, tied with Cleveland right now. I didn't even go through who Houston's playing. I think they're playing the Angels, if I'm not mistaken.
Houston, hold on one second.
Like over the weekend. What do they play? They're playing the A's on the road.
That'll be fun.
Oklahometo's been playing good baseball in the second half.
They have...
They got the Halos.
Yep, they have the A's and the Halos.
That adds more pressure to Boston and Detroit and Cleveland. Who's Cleveland got on the weekend? I forgot. Cleveland's got Detroit this week, and then the Guardians have the Rangers, who are basically out of it now because they have lost 7 straight games. But that's how the American League wild card plays out. I mean, Detroit with a bad week not only could be the 6th seed, they could be out of the playoffs entirely. And Tarek Skubal will be in Cancun. That's rough. So that's the breakdown on what's at stake this week. There's 6 games left. I'm telling you, the
A's have been doing surprisingly well. I just looked it up.
I told you.
They went 13-11 in July, 15-12 in August, and they're 10-8 right now. I mean, they're not world beaters, but they're playing very solid ball.
They are. They've won 7 of the last 10.
It's their home record that's killing them. They're 33-42 at home.
That's because their pitching's not very good and they play in a bandbox. 40-41 on the road. The Oklahoma A's, just enough to get people to buy in. We all remember what you guys did.
Nothing quite like being 9 games under 500 in a minor league ballpark.
Oh, when you put it that way, it's kind of sad. Speaking of sad, my picks this week in college football, we're going to get to that. But first, if you can call in, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We got tickets to give away for Padres and Diamondbacks coming up on Friday. 2 tickets to Padres Diamondbacks this Friday. Join the Padres for Hispanic Heritage Celebration when they host the Diamondbacks in the final regular season homestand. More info at padres.com/Hispanic Heritage. First one to call in and tell me who the Arizona Diamondbacks Hall of Fame members are. There's 2 of them. In the Arizona Diamondbacks Hall of Fame. They have 2 members of their Hall of Fame. Call in. You got to give me both of those names. If you are the first one to do that, you will win 2 tickets to the Padres game against the Diamondbacks. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Good luck when we come back. We'll talk college football one more time, and then we'll get into some more Padres baseball with a mention of high school football as we finish up the show. Braden Surprenant Show, Saturday on One Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 125 on a Monday. Who won the tickets?
That would have been Zach in San Diego.
Zach in San Diego. We expect to see you Friday. Baja Ricks. We'll be there. 10 to 2.
That was a caveat to this.
That was a caveat. 10 to 2 on Friday. We'll be at Baja Ricks. Should be a fun time. Looking forward to it. We have a Manny Machado signed baseball to give away on Friday. You have to be there to get it. So that's an incentive to come down. Work remote that day. Come down to Baja Ricks. Have yourself a nice little social sparkler. Maybe a nice little appetizer. They got some surf and turf stuff that you can partake in.
And that one is legit. We're not trying to get people down there just to see us with the Manny Machado bobblehead. That you can only win that at.
I thought
Baja
it was a signed
Ricks.
baseball.
Whatever. It's a base. I think we're giving away a bobblehead and a baseball.
We are giving away a bobblehead. I don't know what bobblehead it is, but I'm pretty sure we're giving away a Manny Machado baseball on Friday.
Yeah.
You have to be there to win it. And if you show up and then you leave, you don't get it. You have to be there, present, to win.
Which is why we do the drawing at the beginning of the show and don't tell you the answer until the end of the show.
So I do the drawing at the end of the show. Yeah, work remote like the Cubs fan in the stands. Get yourself some Baja Ricks. Be a good time. Baseball coverage on 97 to the fans presented by T-Mobile at T-Mobile.com. Get a great deal on iPhone 16 Pro. All right. Let's talk about college football. A week that was.
So you know who wasn't a pro? The Goobers doing these picks.
Yeah, apparently not.
We're not
now
pros.
Under 500 now on some of these picks. Mostly on spread picks. A lot of teams didn't cover. Good teams win. Great teams cover. A lot of teams didn't cover. Texas Tech over Utah, 34-10. Texas Tech's really good. I'd be afraid of Texas Tech if I was somebody in the Big 12 that had to play them.
Yep.
TCU does not have to play them.
We all won that.
Saddle is ours still. West Texas Championship. Do you know they play for a saddle?
I did
It's
not.
life-size. It's nice.
That's
Maybe that might be up for grabs at Jerry's World for the Big 12 Championship game. At this rate, you never know.
cool.
All right. We all won that game. Utah. Here's my favorite thing about Utah. A lot of their fans on social media, Utah Twitter, Utes Twitter. I'm going to say Utes Twitter, not youths like an Italian guy says, but the Utah Utes, their social media again, their Twitter, they were so upset to join the quote truck stop conference because they were so elite and they're so much better than us that they were, we're a Big 10 school. This is a joke. We're going to dominate the Big 12. This is a joke. Guess what Utah has not done at home since joining the Big 12? Win a game against a Big 12 school. Interesting.
Oops.
I saw a big noon. So that was big noon kickoff, right?
Yes.
Texas Tech and Utah. Tech fans are great. I'm as much as I hate Texas Tech, I do like their fans now. I'm starting to like their fans. I like their swag. Okay, we got a couple of dudes that look like Snoopy's cousin with the mustache. They got cowboy hats. They got the boots. They have their sign. They have a fat dip in. You know what they're saying? You know, one of the signs said, "Nobody cares that you played in the Rose Bowl twice." Funniest sign I've ever seen about Utah, because Utah will tell you all the time, Utah fan, we've played in the Rose Bowl. Did you win it, big dog?
That's
no,
cool.
No, you didn't win it. Stop bragging. We've played in the Rose Bowl. Nice. Win it. We've played in the Rose Bowl, and we're too good for the Big 12, and we're too good for the Big 12. We're going to dominate the Big 12. L. Take that L. Texas Tech, Red Raiders. Bang, bang, Red Raiders, bang, bang. Big win for the Red Raiders. SMU, TCU. All won that one. I go, skillet is ours. TCU wins 35-24. SMU rallied back late, took a 24-21 lead. TCU answered with an 80-yard touchdown to Eric McAllister at a day. Forced a 3-and-out, got another one. Had a couple of weird plays happen too. TCU wins. They win the skillet. Auburn doesn't survive against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's good. Oklahoma is pretty good. Oklahoma might make a run of the SEC. This is the best they've looked under Brent Venables over the weekend. They look good against Auburn at home. Ole Miss handled Tulane. Tulane wasn't very impressive. Michigan, Nebraska came down to the wire. Michigan won by 3 points. Nebraska, since joining the Big Ten, is yet to beat a ranked team. Did you know that? Conference realignment not working out for Nebraska.
Oof.
They have yet to win they are yet to beat a ranked opponent since joining the Big Ten. They're like 0-16.
That's fun.
They used to be a dominant contender for they're irrelevant in the Big Ten. Conference realignment is stupid. Arizona State beats Baylor by a field goal 27-24. They've overcome a couple of things after losing to Mississippi State. They got a 3-1 record. They will host 24th ranked TCU on Friday. Washington beats up on the Cougars. This is the game. It's the same reason. After San Diego State beat up on Cal, this is why we said in the moment, losing that game to Washington State like they did was an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment. 100% embarrassment. Washington State did not look good on Saturday against the Huskies. Florida, Miami. What did you say, Frank? Florida, waiting for Bill Napier to get fired.
Yeah, we're waiting on that call.
Yeah. Florida's terrible.
I
thought they'd give Miami a run because it's a rivalry game, but they have lost to USF now. They've lost to Miami, and they're going to lose to Florida State later in the year. They're going to get over.
They have one of the most abysmal schedules upcoming.
Oh, it's rough.
I think their next 3 games are all against top 10 teams.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
good.
they're playing number 10 Texas, number 9 A&M, Mississippi State, number 5 Georgia, at Kentucky, at number 13 Ole Miss versus number 15 Tennessee versus Florida State. With the way they're playing right now, they might put up an egg. With the way they're playing right now. Not good for Florida.
Yes. Not good. Illinois got smoked by Indiana. I thought this was a matchup of 2 teams that were fake good. And one of them showed that they might not be fake. Indiana is interesting. Indiana doesn't play anybody. Like, their schedule sucks. And it sucks every year. And their coach is arrogant. Look me up. I win. It's like, all right, buddy. Calm down.
They're in the weak side of the Big Ten for sure.
But they don't play anybody. And neither does Illinois. There has been no reason for Illinois to be ranked as high as they've been ranked all season, except for we picked them to be good during the offseason. Like Josh Pate said on his podcast. Well, we highlighted them in our little preview magazine. Illinois has no reason to be ranked as high as they did. But here's the thing about Indiana. As much as I like to criticize Indiana for their lack of scheduling, they blow everybody out. And they did it last year, too. And then they played somebody good like Notre Dame. They got their ass kicked in the playoff, but that's neither here nor there. They beat Old Dominion 27-14. They beat Kennesaw State 56-9. They beat Indiana State 73-0. They just beat Illinois 63-10. They got Iowa on Saturday.
They're going to be playing Oregon. They're going to be playing Penn State.
They have to go to Oregon and Penn State. If they hang win those games, I will agree that they are not fake good. But mixed in is Michigan State, not good. UCLA is the worst Power 4 school in football, which, by the way, I like to dance on UCLA's grave because they're the ones that caused the Pac-12 to die. Them and SC. So you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I'm going to enjoy dancing on the grave of UCLA athletics. I am. I'm going to enjoy that. Because you ruined the Pac-12 because you thought you were holier than thou. We're UCLA. We've won the most national championships. Nice. Just screwed over West Coast sports. Thank you for that. I do not feel bad for you. At Maryland, at Penn State, Wisconsin, Purdue. Their schedule's so bad, Indiana's. Last one for you. Cal, San Diego State. None of us picked San Diego State to win. As much as we all wanted San Diego State to win.
San Diego State to cover.
I didn't know. 13.5 points? Kidding me? San Diego State did a great job. We talked about it. I wonder if Nebraska misses the Big 12. They definitely do. Being in the Big 10 is not for them. Wisconsin's bad. We knew Wisconsin was going to be bad. But that's basically a look at the college football. When we come back, we've got some high school football, and we're going to preview the series against
Time out.
Brewers and the Padres.
What was the records this week?
I went 2-8 this week.
There you go.
Not great. Frank's bragging about his 5-5.
No, I'm bragging the fact
you
that
made
now
up
I am
3 games.
I am 2 games behind you now. That is what I'm bragging about. And Skylar is only a game behind you. We are all under 500, by the way, for this.
Yeah, just give me a week here. I had to let you guys get. I had to get you guys back into it. I had to let you guys get back into it. Good teams win. Great teams cover. Not a lot of great teams this week, Frank. Frogs covered. That was awesome. Skillet is ours. Never play SMU ever again, please. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. There it is. Go Aztecs. Big Red is now Lil Red. So great. So great. We'll talk about what happened in this week in high school football when we come back, and Brewers and Padres preview to finish up the show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant. That show flew by today. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Thanks again for tuning into the Braden Surprenant Show. On a Monday, Padres took 2 out of 3 from the White Sox over the weekend. A win tonight, and the Padres are in the playoffs officially. They would have clinched officially. Not that we needed this to reassure anybody, but they would have clinched officially. So it's them they're going against Peralta tonight. Padres throw out Nick Pivetta, a couple of aces on the hill. Should be a fun matchup between the Padres and the Brew Crew, a team that you most likely will play in the divisional round of the playoffs if you can make it through the Cubs. Padres can still track down Chicago, technically can still track down LA. Very bleak at this point. You're 3 games back from both of them with 6 games to go. We'll see what this week's like. The American League is going to be really fun to watch. And we'll talk more about that as the week goes on. I do want to talk about what happened on Friday night. High school football. Wait to the end today to talk about it. I have not received an email about the top 10. I can tell you what my top 10 vote was in the Union Tribune top 10. I had Lincoln number 1, Cathedral 2, LCC 3, Mission Hills 4, Granite Hills 5, Carlsbad 6, Rancho Bernardo 7, San Marcos 8, Mount Miguel 9, and Torrey Pines 10. That is my top 10 for high school football. In the media poll, we have 30 people that are in the media and former coaches that vote on the Union Tribune top 10. We haven't gotten it yet. Sent out by John Maffey. I know he's working on it. So I will forward that along tomorrow on the show when we get it. Here's what happened over the weekend. One of the season's best stories, Mission Bay, 5-0 now. The Mission Bay Buccaneers kept their perfect record alive with a 49-14 homecoming win over Coronado. Senior quarterback Trey Arnold lit it up, 421 yards and 6 touchdowns. He was the first quarterback in San Diego to get to 1,000 yards 2 weeks ago, Frank. 421 yards and 6 tuds through the air on Friday night. That's pretty damn impressive. He spread it around. Sean Lander, 8 catches, 147 in a score. Kai Barrios, 4 catches for a 138 in a score. Jaden Marcelino, 6 catches, 91 yards, and 3 touchdowns for the Mission Bay Bucks. On defense, Mason Morgan had 2 picks. Caden Farmer and Nero Kraft each added 1. Mission Bay dominated, had a great game. They're off to a 5-0 start on the season. Good for Mission Bay. Love it. They'll be doing some damage in the lower divisions. At the top of the rankings, if we go through how the top 10 did last weekend, Lincoln, who's 4-1 now in the year, rolled past Bakersfield Frontier, 31-14. Junior Curtis carried it 17 times for 127 and a touchdown. Rashad Robinson punched in 2 more scores, while quarterback Jordan Roa threw for 109 and a touchdown. On defense, Pick City, Cameron Purnell, Clarence Tucker, Warren Florence, all recording interception for the Hive. Lincoln improves the 4-1 and remain number 1 in the county of San Diego. Number 2, the Cathedral Catholic Dons, dominant in a win over Helix. They won 49-0. They improved to 4-0 on the season. Brady Palmer, near perfect. 312 yards and 4 touchdowns in the air. Also used his legs a little bit against the Highlanders. Isaac Cook had 175 yards and 2 touchdowns at wideout. Honor Falave Johnson added another 2 touchdowns to the air. Helix, with the loss, falls to 1-4. Dons improved to 4-0. Mission Hills, just as impressive. They beat Ramona 52-0. Troy Hune threw 5 touchdown passes, 2 to Mizell Quackenbush, while Josh Gonzalez ran a kickoff back 99 yards to the house. Mission Hills sits at 5-0, number 3 in the county, according to last week's San Diego Union Tribune poll. We'll get this week's when it gets sent out. La Costa Canyon played on Thursday of last week, kept pace with the rest of the pack. They beat Marietta Mesa from out of town 45-24. Quarterback Quinn Roth threw for 348. Kobe Herman had 192 yards of total offense. Jackson McGorry, 138 receiving yards. Lennox Marcucci, 106 on defense. Zach Kuhns blocked a punt that George Collins returned for a touchdown, while Ryan Scully had 12 tackles and Ian Dunford added a pick. LCC now 5-0. Open division getting more and more important as the weeks go on, and LCC and Mission Hills and Carlsbad are all going to be playing each other over the next couple of weeks as we start league play in the Avocado League. Carlsbad won by forfeit over Valley Center, so they were basically off this week. They keep pace with the rest of the pack at the top, all battling for open division playoff spots. The last team battling for an open division playoff spot, Granite Hills. 3-2 on the year. They lost a shootout with Los Alamitos, who was top 15 in the state, depending on what poll you look at. But you look at Max Preps, Los Al is up there in the state of California. They lost 49-42, Granite did. Granite had a lot of opportunities, had multiple turnovers in that game, but despite, putting up 36.8 points per game on the season, they end up losing the game to Los Alamitos. They're number 6 in the county, at least going into last week, we'll just say. Granite Hills is 3-2. San Marcos stayed hot. They beat San Pasqual 35-7 with the win. San Marcos now 4-1. San Pasqual 2-2. Zamir Reese had a monster night, 116 on the ground with 2 touchdowns, plus a touchdown catch and a punt return for a score. Creep McKinley threw for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. San Marcos probably going to be a good team in Division I when it's all said and done. Mount Miguel edged out Poway, their second top 10 win of the season. Mount Miguel with the win now improves to 4-1. Poway drops to 2-3. They win the game 35-32 over the Poway Titans. Jeremiah Loper threw for 275 and 5 touchdowns, fighting A.J. Logan twice and hitting Brandon Arrington, Delonte Williams, and Gianna Porfillo. For others, for Poway, Luke Jorgensen carried the load, 263 on the ground and 3 touchdowns, plus a 2-point conversion. Luke Jorgensen, another big night on the ground. 263 yards, man. Crazy. Rancho Bernardo, the Fighting Eric Weddles and his son Gage Weddle, they beat West Covina 44-35. They now improved to 4-0 in the season. Trey Durham had a touchdown catch of 16 and 70 yards. Brady Strachan returned an interception for the go-ahead score, while Brody Sella ran back a 98-yard kickoff, and Gavin Stewart sealed it with a late interception. Rancho Bernardo continues their undefeated start to the season. Bishop survived Patrick Henry 31-28 with 2 touchdown runs from Jacob Popplewell. They improved to 4-0. Mount Carmel outlasted Fallbrook 42-35 and they almost went to overtime, I think. 42-35 despite Junior Hernandez rushing for 223 and 3 touchdowns for the Fallbrook Warriors. Westview beat Hilltop 32-21. Matthew Guimon, Charlie Jeskowick connected for 2 scores, while Hilltop's Leo Mendoza ran for 118 and 2 touchdowns. Point Loma's undefeated. They blanked Eastlake 49-0. They improved to 4-0. Eastlake now 1-4. Henry Hauser and Ryder Watson combined for 6 touchdown passes, 3 of them to Romeo Carter. Scripps Ranch shocked Mira Mesa. They beat them 50-0 in their rivalry game. Malachi Sales rushed for a 197. Parker Armstrong tossing 2 scores to Cason Mendez. Cason Mendez a receiver. Cason Mendez a volleyball player. Receivers need to play volleyball. Helps your vert. That being said, University City got 5 touchdowns from Deshaun Hilly in a 42-21 win over Morse. They improved to 4-1 on the season. Imperial 5-0 now after they rolled Palo Verde Valley 49-14 behind Darren Hueso's 5-touchdown night. Steel Canyon still perfect. They're 5-0. Where's Scratch? Scratch is 5-0. They're 5-0 out there in Hamul. Stayed perfect. They beat Valhalla to win the Hamishaw helmet. The Hamishaw helmet, Frank. Hamishaw helmet. Staying with Steel Canyon. They beat Valhalla 58-6. Gavin Kaha had a 99-yard kickoff return, behind quarterback Gavin Kaha, and a 99-yard kickoff return from Josiah Stocker. Mater Dei Catholic beat St. Augustine 33-28. They improved to 2-3 on the year. Saints drops to 1-4. Jordan DeMarin rushed for 225 and 4 touchdowns. Saints Pai Palamalu returned both a fumble and a pick for a touchdown. Again, he's the son of Troy Palamalu. He is a great athlete for St. Augustine. Olympian 5-0, stayed undefeated, beating Chula Vista 38-9. Frank was not in attendance. Foul on Frank. And in comeback fashion, Bonita Vista stunned Vincent Memorial 17-13. 2 late touchdown passes from Anthony Lorenz and Cole Margits, Bonita Vista gets their first win of the season. They're now 1-4. Vincent Memorial is now 0-4. And that's your look at the high school football breakdown. John Maffey has now sent the new top 10 for this week. Lincoln, number 1 with 25 first place votes. Cathedral, number 2 with 5 first place votes. Mission Hills comes in at 3. LCC 4. Carlsbad 5. Granite Hills 6. San Marcos 7. Mount McGill 8. Rancho Bernardo 9. Poway 10. This would be a great year to have high school football, I don't know, have 8 teams in the open. I hate the 4-team playoff in the open. It's not a playoff. 4 teams is like a multi-team event, an MTE you see in college basketball. I'd love to see 8 teams back in the open. I mean, if you look at it right now, the 8 teams, everybody complained about it because only the 1 through 4 won. But here's the deal. That's what's expected to happen. If it was an open playoff with 8 teams, you would have Lincoln hosting Mount Miguel right now in the first round, Cathedral hosting San Marcos, Mission Hills hosting Granite Hills, La Costa Canyon hosting Carlsbad. Be fun. That'd be a good playoff. RB and Poway would be your first 2 seeds in Division I. I think that's would be the case. I think that's what should be the case. Anyway, there you go. There's your high school football update. Somebody asked, how does San Diego CIF determine the leagues? All the leagues are based on regions. They have the North County, they have the South Bay, they have the city, and they have East County. They're all determined basically by school districts, and in those areas they have different leagues, and they're on a power rating system. So the best city schools are in the Western League. Next group is in the Eastern League, and the city and the Central, and every league's got that. There you go. Any other questions, Frank?
No, I think I'm pretty good on it.
Matthew in the chat. Haven't been on here all week, but what about those Aztecs? What about those Aztecs?
How about them Aztecs?
How about them Aztecs? Sounds a lot better than how about them Cowboys, let me tell you that.
It certainly does.
How about them Aztecs? That was a great win on Saturday. How about them Padres? Hopefully tomorrow we could say, how about them Padres being a playoff team? Padres Brewers coming up tonight at 6:40. Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show at 5:40. Gwen and Chris will take you up until then. Padres with the win tonight are officially in the playoffs. 6 games to go. A week from tomorrow, we will have playoff baseball. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station. 97 through the Fan. See you tomorrow.